Welcome to Nimmin Live, the #1 place on the internet to learn about YouTube, network with other content creators, and have an awesome time doing it. My name is Nick, and today we are answering your YouTube questions. We're looking at YouTube channels, probably. We are having a special guest on. Like, we got all kinds of stuff happening today on Nimmin Live. But when I say we, I mean myself and my brother from the same mother, D. D, how's your week been?
Fantastic week. Really excited about today's guest.
Yeah, me too.
We have Derral Eves joining us today.
Yes, we do.
If you don't know who Derral Eves is, mods, please show them out. Show them at the doors. Now, we have Derral's book right here. Can you grab Derral's book? I don't want to knock my coffee over.
Yep.
Down there at the bottom.
I'll move my coffee instead.
And you want to tell them what Derral Eves is going to be doing today?
Yeah, so basically Derral Eves is going to be on here answering YouTube questions and helping us look at channels and all that fun stuff. So basically coming on here and, you know, doing that. So, yeah. So it's going to be a really good time. But yeah, this is Derral's book, but we'll talk more about this here a little bit later in the stream. But really quick, Home Rapid Repair says, did you redo the membership badges? I did. And it looks like, so on the back end of YouTube, it looks like they're animated, but it looks like here in the live stream, they are not animated. So I had them to where everything was animated, but when they're actually live, unfortunately, they're not animated. So that's kind of disappointing, but it's okay. They still look okay. So so because of that, you know, it's perfectly fine. But yeah, so basically I just put a little number on there so you can just kind of see, you know, the amount of time and, you know, things like that. But a little bit disappointed, D, because I was telling D that that I was like, yeah, they look cool because they're sparkly because they're animated, but unfortunately it didn't translate.
The glitter.
Yeah.
The glitter didn't translate.
Yep, that's how it goes. But when it comes to the stream today, another thing that we're going to be talking about is YouTube news. So YouTube is expanding their effects tool to more content creators. I've messed with it just a little bit so far, actually just a little bit right here before the stream. And it's not super intuitive, but it looks like it's cool and it has a lot of potential. So if you haven't seen it yet, basically you can go to effects.youtube.com to try this out for yourself. But this is a tool that is put out by YouTube, and it looks like it's going to allow us to be able to, you know, add graphics and that types of things to shorts if we want to. And we're going to be able to make, you know, content of sorts in here as well. But it definitely, from, you know, just dabbling in here a little bit, doesn't seem to be super intuitive.
It seems like what you get when you upload a short on your phone. Like you have all the extra things that you can add. That's kind of what I'm getting.
Yeah, but with this, though, it's also got like this 3D stuff. So you can have like a 3D landscape. You can upload 3D models to it as well, to where you can, you know, make some really cool stuff in here. So I think it's just kind of like their built-in version of like a, you know, fun, like, I don't know, After Effects is probably going to be a bit of a stretch.
A little bit of a stretch.
But, you know, it's like that. But it looks, you know, it looks pretty cool. But when it comes to that, you can try it out for yourself at effects.youtube.com. See if you find it a little bit more intuitive than I did. Because for me, it was...
They will do anything except for give us the ability to tag people
on a mobile device.
In a mobile live stream. They will literally build entire new effects modules.
They will.
Inside of a browser before they give us the ability to tag people.
Absolutely. And I bet they didn't have to take anybody off the mobile team to do it either.
They will literally do anything else other than give us that one simple thing.
In addition to that, they've also added bulk moderation tools, or they're on the way, for being able to bulk moderate comments. And as a part of this, basically, if you have the feature enabled, they're currently testing it in Thailand. Because I have a U.S. account, I don't have it at the moment, but from watching the video about it, basically how it works is you're able to select comments, just like you can already do. You can, you know, go into your content area, you can select, you know, a bunch of videos, and then you can select the edit drop down, and then you can go down and you can find comments, and you will be able to choose if it's just subscribers only that are on there. Currently, you can already choose like your moderation levels and things like that, but they're going to be adding just a little bit more information to that. But go ahead, D.
It's bulk reply.
Yeah, so in your so basically it's comment settings,
right?
So it's not a bulk reply.
Okay.
So let's say, for example, you have 10 videos and you're just getting, I can't really think of a real use case, but I'm going to kind of go out on a limb for this one.
Anything but the handles.
So with this one, basically, you can select a bunch of videos and you can go in, and you can already do it to where you can select a bunch of videos. You go in and you can change like your moderation level to like more strict if you wanted to, like that kind of stuff.
We have that. We
turn
have
them
that.
on, turn them off, that kind of stuff. But you can do it in bulk. And then with the new update, you can go in there and you can choose if you want subscribers only to be able to answer or to go into your comment section. So with that, you're going to be limiting the public on it. So I guess maybe it's for people that might get some type of, people being rude or something in the comments initially. I have no idea in terms of the use case, but you're going to be able to lock them down to subscribers only in bulk. Right, so you can already do some of that a little bit, but this is where you can just do it in bulk. So it just makes that workflow more efficient. And then in addition to that, if you use Brand Connect, soon you're going to be able to tag the brands that you promote. And when you do this, the brands are going to be able to also run ads with your videos. And in return for that, they're going to put a subscribe button on the video so that brands might be able to boost your subscriber count by running ads on your videos. So I'm not sure how I feel about that particular one because it'll be kind of like using YouTube Promote, I think, but they're making it available. And also when your content is tagged for the brands, it's also going to give them more information on video performance and things like that, which that is a bonus for them in terms of, how are people responding to these videos so they can decide to continue working with you or not. So I think that particular one is a win. In addition to that, we have the promo news of the week, which is that Vid Summit is a little over a month away. So if you haven't gotten your tickets for Vid Summit yet, and we're going to be talking about Vid Summit a little bit later in the stream as well. But if you haven't gotten your tickets for that yet, make sure you go to vidsummit.com where you can find those. The Vid Summit is the conference for content creators. So if you're serious about YouTube, making money from YouTube, being a full-time YouTuber, using YouTube as a side income or something like that, and you're interested in investing in what it is that you're doing, and getting the most out of that, then Vid Summit's going to be the place for you. It's happening in Dallas, Texas at the beginning of October, but we're going to be talking about that in detail here in just a little bit. But that's October 7th through the 9th in Dallas, Texas. But you can find a link to Vid Summit down in the description, or you can go to vidsummit.com. The next thing, and then we're going to get into the YouTube questions.
You're just loaded today.
I am. The next thing, and we're going to get into the YouTube questions right after this one, is that if you are using the new Creator app, there's going to be an update. It's already been submitted. I'm just waiting for Apple approval to where I did a little bit of bug fixing. There was an issue with the content calendar to where the same-day scheduling, which really low use case for that one, but I fixed it anyway. But if you scheduled something on the same exact day to publish on the same day, it just wasn't showing up the way that it's supposed to. So we got that fixed. You can now click on the homepage where you have your next up area to go into your content calendar. Instead of having to click on the content calendar and navigate to it, you can just click that and it's going to send you right into the content calendar. And there's also some better output on the title generator as well in the title workshop area. So if you're using the app, make sure that you're checking that out. If you're not using the app yet, you can check out more information on the app at newcreator.app, so you can just see what it is, see for yourself. It's an iPhone app that I made for content creators to help you manage and grow your channel while you're on the go, because most people are busy and a lot of people are doing YouTube as like a secondary thing. So this helps you be able to manage all that stuff more efficiently. And with all of that stuff out of the way, D, you ready to get into some YouTube questions here?
Yeah, let's get into the questions.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're piling up. And we've got a lot to get through before Derral comes in.
We do.
That's right.
So the very first question that we have here on the list today is from Ben Abay. And just as a heads up, in case you are just joining us, we do have Derral Eves coming on to join us here a little bit later in the stream. Not too far away, but he's going to be joining us soon. And with that, Derral is he's got more gold play buttons, or more gold than Fort Knox, I think, but it's in the form of play buttons. And he's also the executive producer of the Chosen TV series. He has a YouTube growth program that's really successful called Channel Jumpstart that a lot of people go through, but all kinds of stuff for YouTubers. He's like the guy when it comes to YouTube.
The Grand Poobah. The
Grand Poobah of YouTube, absolutely. But he's going to be coming on here in just a little bit. So let's get into the first questions, and really quick. Creator Classroom says, can we ask Derral if he has D's play button? I love it. Hey, thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate it. Yep. Right as my guilt has started to fade. Yep, right there it is.
Listen,
bam.
Full disclosure, I don't even want the play button anymore.
Yeah.
I don't even want it anymore. Like,
at one point, I thought you said you ordered one.
Yeah, that was a FooBar too.
What happened with that?
I don't know. They have like a new design. Yeah, I don't want the new design.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want the original.
Okay.
Or I don't want it.
Yeah, Doug's got it right there.
Yeah,
Doug's got it.
Yeah,
right there.
I don't want it anymore. Like it was a moment, and the moment passed.
Yep.
It's fun to make fun of you
Yeah,
because for losing my play button because I worked so hard to get the play button and you lost it.
That's what makes me feel guilty about it.
You lost it.
Yeah.
And now it's just kind of like Doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm the anti-button creator. I'm not going to be all these losers who are putting their play buttons behind them in their shots because of their insecurities that they're trying to put out there. Look at the play button that I've got. Look at the channels that I've grown. Here's all the play buttons that I've got behind me.
That's what somebody with no play button would say.
Now, the only exception to the rule. No, listen. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, there's only one person on this entire streaming platform that should sit upon a throne of play buttons, and it's our guest coming in today, Derral.
Right,
no one else should be allowed to put a play button behind him. That's my thought on that.
Oh, love it.
All right.
So the very first question
I'm not
from
bitter. I'm not bitter.
You're not bitter at all.
Yeah.
You definitely can feel your not bitterness right there. That was great. So Ben Abay is our first question here. They upload 1 time per week or more, been on YouTube for a year more. They do culture content. The goal of the channel is to be a full-time creator. And they say, can you review my YouTube channel? So I can't give you a review, but what I can do is I can just take a quick look, see if there's anything that's just kind of, standing out that I might be able to bring to your attention. I think, let me just kind of look and see what it is that you're doing here. Just at a quick glance, make sure everything's family friendly and all of that good stuff.
A gander.
So the very first thing that just kind of stands out here really quick, and like I don't need to pull the channel up for this, but I'm going to just for fun, so everybody can see what I'm talking about here. So the very first thing is I would not mix languages. So you can see right here how you have, it looks like Arabic, and then you also have English in here. I would definitely just keep the language singular. So I don't know if you are, what language that you're speaking in the content, but when you do this type of thing, it's definitely confusing. And if you are speaking Arabic in the content, then if somebody, responds to one of these English titles and you're speaking Arabic, then it can make it, challenging in terms of them being able to enjoy the content. So then they'll quickly leave the video. So because of that, the, kind of big elephant in the room there would be to make sure that your titles are singular for the, a singular language for the audience that you're trying to reach with your content. Let's see here. So the next channel here that we have on the list. And if you are just joining us, what we're doing right now is we're answering YouTube questions, pulling up channels. So there's a form down in the description. If you, need feedback, if you have a question that you want answered, anything like that, put your question down in the form, because these are the questions that, we're going to be answering here during the stream until Derral gets here. And then when Derral gets here, we're going to be, answering more questions as well. So just make sure you get them down on the form if you, have any questions about anything that you're doing on YouTube. And it looks like on my end, I'm frozen, D. Am I frozen on your end?
No. You're good.
Yeah, it must be just my thing. I'll just reload. Oh. All right, so next up on the list here, we've got Trying to Learn Bikes. Trying to Learn Bikes uploads 1 time per week or more. And with Trying to Learn Bikes, they do motorcycle maintenance and lifestyle content. The goal of the channel is to teach others. And the question is, if some of my content was being stolen and used on other channels after contacting the offending channel and being ignored, barring legal action and getting lawyers involved, what are my options? So you can report it directly to YouTube. So you can file what's called a DMCA notice. D, do you want to tell them what a DMCA is?
Well, I mean, if your content is on YouTube, you can do that with inside of YouTube specifically, right? So yeah, you can file a takedown notice. Here's what I would do. I would go to Google or go to ChatGPT or Perplexity or whatever it is that you're using and look up what is a DMCA takedown notice. It's a Digital
Millennium Copyright Act.
Yeah. And what that is and you're allowed to send it as yourself, or you can have an agent or representative send it on your behalf, which could give you a little bit more privacy. So what that is a legal notice that you send to YouTube that forces them to take action to contact that person who is using your content without your permission. And you can either request to take that content offline, or you can get, I don't know if you're monetized or not, but if you are monetized, you can get monetization if they're monetized and they're making money off of your video. So it's a process you have to go through. It's a form. Be warned. They want you to attach your real personal information to that. That's why I mentioned that you can get an agent, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, or someone to represent you to send that on your behalf to protect your privacy. because the claimant, or you're the claimant, the person that's going to receive it on the other end, they're going to get some of that information. So be warned. But you can definitely get it taken offline.
Mm-hmm. So next up on the list here, we've got...
And by the way, I feel for you. It's a pain in the butt when people are stealing your content.
It is.
It's a total pain in the butt. It's great to be able to take stuff down. But at the same time, we were just talking today about the music stuff that's happening with the Rick Beato and the strikes against his channel. Like it's a double-edged sword. Yeah. But you can use it to your advantage. So learn about it and learn how to properly send a DMCA notice to take your content offline if that's what you want to do.
Yeah, TikTok is difficult too when it comes to trying to get content taken down. Yeah, like I found entire channels that have a bunch of my stuff on them. Yeah, and yeah, it's really difficult to get them to take it down.
Are they ignoring your request?
Yep. Like so I'm going to have to send like a real DMCA in order to get them taken down.
Like from a lawyer?
Yeah. I think with all these systems, what it seems like these systems are basically requests. Right. So it's not like, like, hey, we're starting like a legal thing here. It seems more like it's like a request. And then if the platform's like, OK, yeah, well, take it down, then it's fine. But if not, then they're just, like TikTok, for example, then they're just like, OK, well, we'll just leave it up. And, you'll have to find a more official means to actually take it down.
The problem, and I don't want to stay on this too long, but the problem is when these platforms don't follow the law. Like they're supposed to do that. When you file a form like that, they're supposed to act and take the content, the offending content down if they're given a proper form and it's filled out correctly. When they don't do that, I think they're banking on the fact, they're like, this person's not going to sue us. Right. They know that 99.999% of the creators out there, we don't have the funds to go after Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or whatever streaming service is refusing to take something down. They know that. Yep. What are you going to do? Right. Yeah. So sometimes I had somebody using my profile pictures. They created my name. My profile picture, here's my stuff. And I went back and forth to YouTube. They wanted me to submit like government issued IDs and all this. I'm like, no. Yeah, anyway, that channel just kind of got pushed into oblivion. But yeah, sometimes it's difficult.
Yeah, it's weird.
If they follow the law, they're supposed to take it down.
The law. So let's see here. So, and to make it even worse, just to go ahead and just hammer on that horse for just a second, to make it even worse, the whole system's just a mess anyway, in terms of like, false claims, like things like that. It's a mess.
Yeah, it's an absolute mess.
So Wiggy the Chess Man is our next question here. And Wiggy uploads 1 time per week or more, been on YouTube for 1 year or more, does gaming, tutorials, reviews, and live streaming content. The goal is to teach others. The question is, I've started adding gameplay into my channel's content. It's around the game of chess, so it's not straying far away from my regular content. I found my recent videos not doing too great. My videos are hitting a CTR of 0.3, but retention once they're in is actually quite good. Looking at the retention drop-off, I've noticed that between 30 and 50% of viewers watch the first half of my video, which is a gameplay commentary, but then it drops to 10% for the remainder of the video, which is replaying/reviewing the gameplay. Question is this sudden decline in retention a bad thing for my channel? Should I cut my videos short to have a strong overall retention or keep the additional content for the 10% who like to stick around to the end? So if you have a different format of content that you give later in the video than the content that you have in the beginning, because it sounds like you shift what's being offered in the video, then in that case, I would experiment with actually separating them. So having, if you have people that stick around and it's the same, audience because they're interacting with that content, and you have people that are sticking around for that second part of the video where it's something different that you seem to be giving them, and then you have the people that seem to enjoy the stuff at the beginning, but then they end up bailing, for the end stuff, then it seems like that might be an opportunity to experiment with separating them out, as long as it would make sense, the videos that you're making, but as long as it would make sense for what you're doing. It seems like that would be something to experiment with, is making sure that you're giving, the people what they want for a full piece of content. And then if you have content that most everybody is gone for, then in that case, either one, just not doing that because the majority isn't into that, or if you really want to do that, then in that case taking that and making that a separate offering, that might be something that might to it. Like that would be something that I would experiment with if I wanted to keep making that content. But a bigger elephant in the room that I would just want to bring to your attention real quick.
Got elephants in the room.
And I'm going to go look at your
we've
channel
been
here.
live for 20 minutes and you've got elephants in the room.
I know, right?
Come on now.
I know, right? So, yeah, another thing here is based on the view counts that you have, already having a CTR that's down to 0.3%. Yeah, so that means that people are just not, they're just not clicking on what it is that you have when YouTube is recommending it to them. And I don't know if it's because just how you're packaging this up, trying to, get in front of chess players, which you have chess imagery in here. I don't know if it's that, or if because you're playing video game chess, which is what it looks like you're actually doing here, that maybe the people that YouTube is showing this content to, there just isn't enough of them for them to care enough about it. And that might, end up reflecting on you poorly in terms of click-through rate there. And, that can also come down to, how you're packaging it up. Like, for example, seconds left, can I win? So there's, like some interest there. But, I'm just not sure how compelling that is, right? So yeah, your click-through rate is definitely a sign, because that's low. So just so you know, the average on YouTube across the platform is between 2 and 10%, according to YouTube. They don't tell us how many impressions, get to each one, but the average is between 2 and 10%. So even on the low end, you're under that, right? So that means that either the content isn't relevant to enough people to where the topic is hurting you, or it could be, just the packaging in general that is working against you there.
So I'm going to tackle this really quick because Renegade's Garage brought it up. And
Renegade.
Real quickly, it says, what if a channel does so-called channel reviews and all they do is make fun of someone? That's defamation of character. If you're in the United States, which I believe that you are, it depends on what's being said. So someone can do a channel review and make fun of you. They can make fun of you. They can make fun of your content. They can ridicule you. In the U.S., parody and satire, I believe it's called, it's protected speech in the U.S. So they can do that. Where it crosses the line into defamation is if they are making statements about you that are not true, but they're presenting them as fact. That's where it crosses the line.
Would that still apply to like a channel review, though? Do you think?
No, like a roasting. Like you can go on, you can roast somebody, make fun of their stuff or whatever. There's really nothing you can do. I mean, it's parody and satire. You can make fun of you all day long. There's a famous case with Larry Flint, Hustler Magazine, and Jerry Falwell, who was the minister at the time. They ran they were doing parodies of him in the magazine. Huge. It was like a massive lawsuit, and they won. Flint won over that because it was parody and satire. It was protected in the U.S. The problem is if they're going live and they're making up these stories about you, like, oh, I don't know what you're doing in your garage, oh, I know for a fact he's stealing these cars and putting these cars in his video. That would be defamatory, right? Okay. He made a statement that wasn't true and he said it as fact, and it's a statement that could harm your reputation. That would be defamatory. Otherwise, they can make fun of you. Yeah, but I don't know anything about that. There's a fine line. It depends on what's said and how it's said, but generally speaking, parody and satire are usually protected as long as it's presented in that way.
Yeah, I learned something today.
Yeah, so I'm going to make fun of you for the rest of the Scale Translation says the figures D would know all about the rules around satire.
Right.
I find the line and dance all over it.
Yeah. So the Dr. Vibe Show is the next question here on the list. He does daily content, but on YouTube for a year or more. He does information and news content. And the question is, appreciate both of you. I have a very large number of YouTube videos and YouTube shorts. What is your take on having separate channels just for YouTube shorts and for your YouTube videos? You can structure that sort of thing any way that you want to. So there isn't a rule that says you have to, put everything on one channel. The typical rule is if you have, the same people that you're trying to reach, then on the same channel, you can add value to them through your long form, you can add value to them through your short form, and you can add value to them through live streams and possibly even podcasts. And that's all if it's all targeted towards the same group of people. However, it's also perfectly fine to say, I'm going to have this channel for long form videos, and I'm going to have this channel for YouTube shorts, just so I can have these two different things that I'm growing. And over here, I'm just going to have, everything that is available on the short side. Over here, everything that's available on the long form side. And I'm going to just make it to where people can, only have those options when they're interacting with each of those channels. And then maybe on, the channel page of each one, you have a link going back to the other one or whatever. But you can definitely do that if you choose to, but it's not something that's necessary. So when shorts first came out, that was more of a thing people were doing because they noticed that shorts were having a negative impact on the channel. But but YouTube has patched all that stuff up now. And as long as everything is still targeted towards the same group of people, those issues are no longer taking place.
Everything is patched.
Yeah. So great question, though. Next question that we have here on the list is from ESL Speaking Corner. They upload 1 time per week or more, been on YouTube for a year or more. The type of channels, they help adults improve their daily conversation. Know Me Gaming, what's up? Nice to see you in here.
Hey.
And the type of channel here is to help adults improve their daily conversation. And the goal of the channel is to teach others. And the question is, I did an interview recently. So can me and the interviewee upload the same interview on our individual channels, or should we each do different intros to change it a bit? So technically,
we did that. You and I did that.
Yeah, we did that for live streams, to where we'd stream to both channels.
Yeah. So what happened, just to let you know, we were streaming to both channels and testing it, seeing how this stream would perform on my channel. Didn't perform well. But what happened was those streams were showing up in my Content ID match tool.
Yep.
So if I were so inclined, I could have issued a copyright claim or a copyright strike on him.
And vice versa.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So their system's a little wonky in terms of that. But technically, yes, you could do it.
Yeah.
Well,
what I think that you should do there, because
a little risky.
Yeah, YouTube is really weird about
finicky.
About some things like that. So I'm always a big fan of making sure that you're playing by the rules if possible. So one of the things that I would do in that scenario is, if you have the interview and you have multiple angles and things like that, if you did it to that extent, then in that case making a different edit for each one is an option that you would do. And then in that case you would give a different experience to the people that are interacting with each channel. And with that, you could have it to where the one channel, like your channel, for example, that's where most of the footage and things like that are more, you're in it more and all that stuff. Conversation's the same, but maybe you're showing you a little bit more. And then on theirs, maybe it's showing them a little bit more for their audience. Other things that you can do, if you wanted to, is from a collaborative standpoint, is you could put, a part of the interview on yours and put a part of the interview on theirs, and then, tell people that the other one's there, if and only if you are trying to share audiences in that way, because the people that are watching your type of content are also they're basically doing the same thing you are. Then in that case, you can use that as a collaboration opportunity as well, to where you're trying to send people over to the other channel. Next. So we got Dr. Vibe Show again, or did I do this one already? Yeah, we did that one already. Okay. So next up, man, it's so weird because I haven't put the headphones on in here in so long.
Oh, so you hear it weird.
Yeah, so it sounds really weird. It sounds fine, but it just sounds so different. You are. Yeah, it's really weird.
I'm all up in your ear holes.
You are.
All in those ear holes.
So
that's right. Earbuds in the ears indicates Mr. Eves is close. That's right.
Yeah, not yet. He's not in the he's not here yet. But I'm just kind of getting ready, so when he does come in, I don't have to fumble around for the headphones. Yep. So Laugh Lines and Life Lessons is the next channel here. They are wanting some feedback on their YouTube channel. They upload one time per week or more.
Sheila. How you doing, Sheila? I remember.
They do midlife reinvention content. The goal of the channel is to make money. And the question is, I've recently started adding vlog-style videos to my lineup. 1 time a week, we do a studio vid, and 1 time a week, I do a vlog. In my head, this makes sense. Does it make sense to you? So if you add a vlog style video to your channel, let me just kind of take a quick gander here. But if you are creating 2 different offerings like that for your viewers, topically, if it's something that, if your vlogs are topically something that the people that are watching the other videos would be into, then in that case, it makes sense. But if you're like, hey, here, survival truth while everything works out, and you're making that video, and then the next video is like, hey, we're gonna go on a cruise, then you're kind of separating who it is that you're making content for. But if you make vlog style content, but you're still providing a similar type of value to the people that you're adding value to with your content, then in that case it can work out. Because when it comes to vlogs, that's a style, but you can still deliver a similar type of content within the vlog, even though you're shooting it and presenting it differently, right? So I would just think, okay, when I'm doing these vlogs, would this still be a good experience for the people that I'm trying to add value to through my content? And if the answer is yes, then go for it. If the answer is like, I don't know, maybe they don't want to go on a vacation with me, then in that case, you probably wouldn't want to put it on the same channel.
Yeah. Hey, Sue, how you doing?
But, those types of things are also, where you can, really start to experiment too. Because like right now, you got 38,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. So, people respond to, what it is that you're doing, which is fantastic. And, you can, if you're like, hey, let me, just experiment with this, make a few videos like this for my viewers and see how they respond to it. You might find that they really enjoy those videos, right? Or you might find like, man, they're just not responding well to these. And then that'll give you, the information that you need. Because if you're like a new channel, you're getting like 100 and something views per video, like that type of thing, then in that case, it would be a little bit different. But because you can get information back quickly in terms of how people respond to, the decisions that you're making around your videos, gives you a lot of flexibilities to make decisions faster, right? So you can just put some out there, see how people respond to them, and then make the call from there.
Move quickly.
Yep. Next up on the list, Artist Haven. What's going on? Hope you are doing great. Nice to see you in here. Stanley Orchard, what is up? Nice to see you here as well.
Hey, Tish.
So next up on the list, and by the way, if you are just joining us, we are answering YouTube questions. We have a form down in the description where you can ask your questions. If you're watching this on another platform, if you're watching this on like LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook or anywhere, if you go to nickniman.com/ask, it will redirect you to that same exact form. It's completely free to put your questions in there, and we answer them in the order that they come in on the stream. Right now, we don't have a ton of questions, so if you do put your question in there, it will get answered on the stream today. So if you have any questions or need feedback on your channel or anything like that, make sure that you go ahead and add it to the form right now, so we can just go ahead and get you into the queue. Yep. So next up on our list here, we've got Gaming Dragoons. They upload every other day. Been on YouTube for less than a year. It's gaming content. The goal of the channel is to have fun. They do RPG, horror, and action gaming content. And they say, what can I do better on live? So I can't watch your live stream here during this stream. And the reason for that is because, copyright, things like that. I don't know the music that you're playing in your live streams, if any. I don't know what you're showing. So because of that, I can't really give any real help there. But one thing that I can say,
just risk it all and pull them up.
Yeah, right. But one thing that I can say though, just in terms of just a quick glance at the channel that I just took, is that with your thumbnails, I would definitely try to make the imagery more recognizable for the games that you're playing, because you do have it down here in the title itself. But one of the things that's really important when it comes to YouTube is the thumbnail and how it grabs the attention of the people that you're trying to reach. And the way that you want to think about this is, you can see here on my monitor, how this is kind of a smaller size right now. And on YouTube, they're bigger, like on home pages, they seem to be getting bigger and bigger. But suggested videos, can sometimes be smaller as well. So what you want to think about is, when you're making the thumbnails for these, is this something that somebody who is interested in this Ghost of Tsushima, not sure how to say it, but somebody who's interested in this game, would they be able to instantly identify this at a glance while it's showing up next to a bunch of other content that some of it might also be on this game, and also other content that the people that you're trying to reach is interested in on their home pages, right? And suggested videos. So because of that, I would definitely focus really hard on imagery, because you're focusing on things like live and part 5 and those types of things.
The things that don't matter.
Yeah, they're things that don't matter. So because of that, you want to really lean into the imagery and try to use things that are obvious. So just think to yourself, okay, if I'm trying to grab somebody's attention who's into this game from YouTube's homepage or suggested video, and I have a split second for them to glance over it, is there going to be anything on this thumbnail that's going to stand out to them and make them go, oh, this is about something that I care about, right? So that's the way that you want to approach your thumbnails. All right. Next up.
What time's Derral coming in?
I think sometime soon, I believe. So I mentioned to kind of let us get going a little bit and all of that good stuff. So yeah.
All right.
So next question that we have here is from Severed Soul. Ooh, that sounds creepy. So Severed Soul, they upload one time per week or more. They've been on YouTube for a year or more. They do paranormal stories and haunted history content. Their goal is to be a full-time content creator. And the question is, I went through a purple patch last year of receiving 1,000 to 3,000 views, which is high for my channel. I've improved my storytelling, hooks, thumbnails, and titles, yet views just aren't increasing. Could you offer a desperate creator some advice, please? So the very first thing that I just want to bring to your attention is that when it comes to the improvements that we make, the way that you gauge the effectiveness of the improvements is by looking at how people are responding to your content. So right now, you don't get, tons of activity, at least on this, most recent video that I'm pulling up here. And, because of that, you can't take away too much, but, just little details like, okay, for the people that YouTube is showing this to, am I getting, a decent amount of people clicking on the video? For the people that are coming in, are they leaving the video quickly? Even though it's at a small scale, are they leaving the video quickly? If so, what type of experiments can I run that will help me, try to figure out a way that I might be able to capture their attention better when they come into the video? Or if they're not clicking on it, and you find that by looking at your stats, and in that case, same exact thing, what can I do with this packaging, the thumbnail and title, in order to, help people be able to identify this, a little bit easier. But I think with some of it, because it looks creepy and ghostly and things like that, and you have, like this one's disturbing, the disturbing case of Smurl haunting. So other things you have to take in mind as well is when it comes to, it looks like you're telling like kind of maybe ghost stories maybe. So when it comes to these types of things, like you have to really dig deep in terms of, okay, so I'm trying to bring somebody into this based on something that, a lot of people don't know about. So, how can I frame this up in a way that anybody that is interested in, this type of content where I'm, telling these creepy stories to where they're going to be able to instantly identify it's that. But I think in terms of your thumbnails, I think that you definitely have some creepy stuff going on there. But it just seems that people just aren't responding well. So I would definitely do a lot of experimentation there. And with that said,
we also got some super chats and stuff to catch up on.
Okay, I'll do those in just a second. Yep. But with that said, so the guest that we're getting ready to bring on, he is the executive producer of the hit series called The Chosen. I'm sure you've heard about that. He's the founder of the YouTube growth program called Channel Jumpstart. You can find out more information at about that at channeljumpstart.com. He's the founder of Vid Summit, which is the best conference for content creators. It's happening in October, so a little bit more than a month away, October 7th through the 9th. And he has a ton of gold play buttons. I think more gold play buttons than anybody else in YouTube, and you're going to see him right here in just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, Derral Eves.
Hey, how we doing?
Doing great, Derral. How are you, man? It's been a while, man. You doing well?
It's been a minute or two. It's been a little busy, but it's been great. Been great.
Good. What have you been into?
Well, we're in the middle of production of season 6, and with season 6, we're actually doing a feature film as well. So there's a lot going on, and also in a month, I'm launching an animated series for The Chosen, which I've been working on religiously for the last 3 years. So really excited about that.
Nice, super cool. Very, very cool. So I have a question for you, Derral. So, you're doing all these things, that list of things that I went over here, and I didn't even cover everything. That's just kind of the tip of the iceberg. Like, how do you manage all the things that you're doing?
I just don't sleep. I mean, that's
okay. Hey, that's it. Yeah, perfect answer. That's good.
No, this is what I truly do believe in anyone doing business or content creation can do, but you need to surround yourself by people that have strengths that are your weaknesses. So for me, I'm really good at hyper focusing on things. And I love to do really big picture stuff. And then I need someone to operationalize some of my big picture stuff. And then I come in and kind of fine tune. And so for me, I own 9 businesses, and I have operators for the bulk of the businesses that we have. And what I'm able to do is just kind of check in with them for 15, 20 minutes a day. And they're able to bring me up to speed. I'm able to consult my own business, but then they can operationalize that. Now, that's being said for a lot of that other stuff. When I'm doing something off the ground, like I'm really, really focused in on, getting something bootstrapped or, just right at the very beginning of the phase of development. And then I try to work myself out of a job. That's basically what I try to do every single time, is just try to work myself out of a job and then consult for my own business. So.
Nice. Yeah, it sounds so. Lots of pretty much delegation for pretty much everything. So delegation, and then from there you consult to make sure everything stays on track.
Yeah, I wish I could delegate everything, but there's certain things that I just love to do. At the end of the day, and so one of the things I teach my students, Nick, is figure out what you love to do, what gets you up in the morning every day. And so I do what we call work week analytics. And so I keep a notepad, and I do this about every other month, where I write down every little thing that I do during the day, from getting up to every little detail, whether it's personal, whether it's business related, and I mark it down. And the reason why I do that is because I do that for a full week, and I take 2 highlighters. One of the highlighters is everything that wasted my time. I highlight it. And then everything that I didn't enjoy doing, and I highlight that. And so I'm able to actually take that information and hire someone or delegate that. And then I'm only doing the stuff that I love to do that actually gives me energy. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the stuff that I hate to do, I can't delegate that. There's just there's certain things that you just have to do. And it's just part of, business, is part of life. But for me, that's one of the most powerful ways. And that's what I always encourage my students to do, is like, hey, instead of hiring an editor first, unless you're really bad at editing, let's actually make you have more time to put into the creation of it. So like maybe it's a PA, maybe it's just a part-time someone helping you lift the things that's wasting your time or doing stuff that you don't love to do.
Nice. Yeah, that's good. Very good. And in terms of, handing that stuff off, I guess that's just something that, people have to get comfortable with, right? Because I know that, like sometimes, like that wanting to do it all thing, to where it's like, I want to do it because I'm the one that can do it like this, and I don't trust other people to do it like this. How do you overcome challenges like that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So I've had plenty of students that are like, I can't do anything. I says, okay, there's two scenarios that's going to happen. One, you're either going to burn out and everything's going to fizzle, or you could take this opportunity and bring someone up to help support you. So you got to make the choice, because this is a business that I've seen it happen over and over and over again. And so what I like to have them do is do it something small first. And that's where I think having a PA, a personal assistant, is like, oh, go get my groceries, or go fill up my truck, or whatever that may be. It actually helps you be more efficient. And then for my clients, when they come in, or my students, it's usually when they get the taste of it, they're like, oh my gosh, I got so much more done than I thought I did. I thought I would have to be micromanaging all the stuff. I would no, it's like lower lift things that you're doing. Now, if you're bringing on someone that is higher, has a higher capability, like an editor or whatever, you might need to do quite a bit of handholding. In fact, one of the businesses that we have, we brought someone in for post-production, and their whole job is to keep the flow of the post-production. And so we're working really closely with that person just to make sure that the output is what we're wanting, and it's to minimize our time going into it. And right now he's been working, I would say like about 6-7 weeks. And what's been amazing from that, Nick, I don't even have to give feedback and content anymore. Like, we've already done it enough. He's learned enough. And now he's put processes and systems, and then he handles 7-8 people that I don't have to deal with. And so, at the end of the day, that's kind of where I do believe every content creator, I don't care how big you are, how small you are, it's like, if you can get someone to help you in just the small, minute ways, or things that you're not very good at, to have them help amplify what you're doing, I think you can actually make more impact.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I agree, because, what you're saying there is you're basically saying, move out the stuff that takes time that you don't enjoy in order to make way for things that you can focus on that you enjoy, so that you can thrive.
Yeah. I mean, that is just kind of the secret of longevity, for sure. But there's another trap that content creators put themselves into, which is, oh, I'm not very good at this. So they put somebody over there and then just neglect it. And they don't like check in on it to make sure it's going the proper way. And then it's just a dumpster fire, right? So it's like, oh, okay, I knew it could do it, but they didn't have any proper procedures or processes in place, or they weren't checking up on said thing. And so for me, I believe anything can be managed within 15 minutes when you're working with the right type of person, because they can bring you up to speed of what was going on, and then you can kind of give some insight and help them be successful at what their responsibility and stewardship is.
Love that. So out of all the things that you are running, because you mentioned you have 9 businesses, plus you have a whole slew of like YouTube channels that you do and all of that. So out of all of the things that you are doing, what's the thing that you enjoy the most? Because you have so many things that you're doing. Like, what's the thing that you're like, man, this is the thing that gives me the energy?
Yeah, The Chosen, for sure. Like that's usually about 80% of my week. It's so interesting. This is a crowdfunded project, started at Vid Summit. I actually saw a short film that this creator made at Vid Summit, and over the next 8 years, it's just been a huge passion of mine. It's the hardest project I've ever done. But we're doing it in a new way. We're doing it in things that we've never done before. But the great thing about it is, like, we're creating our own playbook. People are starting to see, oh, I didn't know a TV show can go into the movie theaters. Well, the reason why we're going to movie theaters is because we knew that when we get to the crucifixion and the resurrection, we wanted to do feature films for that. And so we needed to get an audience developed for that, and then also, learn our ways in it. And so, since season 3, we've been working in theaters to get to that point. So for me, that is kind of my passion and love. And I'll say a close second would be my coaching program. I love just passing on what I know. Being on YouTube since 2005, I've seen a lot of data. I've seen a lot of patterns. I've seen a lot of things that can overcome. And I think the biggest thing for everybody that's on this stream and anyone that's watching this, as a replay, is like, sometimes we focus in on the wrong things, or we hyper fixate on data points that make no sense. And one of the data points that I think a lot of people put a lot of anxiety in is the 1 out of 10. And I literally don't like that. I don't like that at all, because it's not the best type of analytics for your mental health. And then 2, it's very misleading. It is so misleading. And so for me, I want to be able to share with my students and my clients, what to really focus in on, which is the person that's watching the content, and if you do a great job at being hyper fixated on what's going to bring them value, how you're going to package it, how you're going to hook it, how you're going to set up the story, how are you going to weave them through the story, what is the shareable moment in a video, they're going to want to come back. And not only want to come back, they're going to want to binge watch your content. And then that's where you see massive audience growth. And in the world of AI and everything that's going on right now, I see more viewers craving for authenticity than ever before, and they want to connect. And so for me, this is a huge opportunity for a lot of people on YouTube, is to use the AI tools to help you, speed up the process and or work, but keep the humanity in videos to connect with people, because that's what we want. We want to connect and go deeper. So for me, like I said, Chosen's like my super passion. Helping students is a close second. Because it doesn't take much time, but I'm able to kind of pass on and teach them exactly what to look at, when never to hyperfixate over things that don't make any sense. And then 2, how to see the viewer in a way that can bring fandom, bring fandom in a way where they don't want to miss a video. And it doesn't matter what type of channel you are. It's like people are into different things. And so like, if you can just know their psyche and the way that they're developing, where they find value, it's just like, what are those parameters that will help them truly deliver on the promise of what you're trying to do with the video.
So let's talk about that for a second. So when it comes to, I mean, we'll just jump right into it. So when it comes to creating that super fan, what are your methods for generating that? So like somebody that's been on YouTube, let's say 2 years, 3 years, or 10 years, or almost 11 years. Like what's your advice for somebody that's like, okay, I'm getting into this and I'm gonna take it seriously and I want to do this for a long period of time. How do I create that nice, strong core audience of people that just love the content that I'm giving them?
Yeah. So what I like to do is work with a blank slate. I think far too many creators says, oh, this is my audience, this is who it is. And it's really not. And so there's like a misfire that's happening. In fact, we're launching a channel in 2 weeks that we've done a lot of research. So I'll say what we've done with that. I'm not going to give the channel name or anything like that. I normally don't do that. But it's like who's going to be our core viewer. That's what we look at as the core viewer. And I want to know that because the core viewer will watch every video. The core viewer will share every video. But if we only focus in on the core viewer to create our content, then we're not going to really go mainstream. We're not going to really expand out. So I like to understand what is the nucleus of our viewership and kind of work our way out. Because what I like to go after is the potential viewer. I want every video to be appealing to that potential viewer. So when I break it down, I don't really care too much about demographics in the sense of, oh, this is the age range or whatever. I try to go into the psychographics, like what makes them tick? What do they find valuable? Like what are they looking for? What type of content would engage them? Where would that curiosity be? And then 2, is there a pattern of people that already congregate? So a lot of things that I do is like see where people are congregating. Most likely I tend to gravitate more to Reddit because subreddits are literally the congregation of very passionate people that is willing to put all time, energy, and effort into content. And then also kind of build that community. So I usually like to gravitate towards that. And then I like to look for patterns of predictability. So like what is the predictability within this group? And then 2, why do certain things take off and certain things don't? Where's that value? And it takes a little bit of time, to really hone in on this. And this is what we call, a viewer avatar. We're trying to create that viewer avatar. Now, a lot of people might say, oh man, I just want to make videos and I just want to make videos for myself. And I'm saying, okay, yeah, go ahead and do that. But if you expect more than one view, you need to be able to understand what you're doing. If you're making content, it's meant to be consumed and shared. And so if we can understand those triggers of what they'll click on, how they'll go into a story and or content, and then what would be that shareable moment, that's really important. So for me, spend a lot of time on that. My blank sheet becomes start full of saying, oh, I see these patterns of topics that they're interested in, things that they engage with, the type of comments. Comments are the most powerful thing ever when you're trying to understand some viewer or some online user. And ultimately trying to see, oh, okay, they engaged with this. And sometimes you see a comment thread, and that's where I say, okay, that's gold. That's like finding a golden nugget, is when you see a thread that has a couple hundred, if not 1,000 people that are bringing in content within the content. And you're starting to see the conversations, and you're like, oh man, this is super powerful. And I see that this missed the mark. This would create an opportunity, or this is a trigger, whatever that may be. And I think some people they already say, oh, I'm just looking to polarize my audience. And I'm not saying you do that. It's just who's the most passionate on things, right? Like, what are they passionate about? What are they not passionate about? What kind of triggers them? And so by doing that, I think it gives you a good parameter of, a viewer, and then you're able to engage. And so one of my students just launched a YouTube channel, and I'm really, really excited for him. And we spent a lot of time on developing the avatar. And I know who the avatar is because I'm the avatar. I like informational content. I love it. I love documentaries. I love things to learn. And then I love the kind of the edutainment type style. And then I love the kind of finding the right type of creators that are very consistently bringing me value of teaching me stuff that I didn't know I needed to know. And so he launched a YouTube channel, and the first 2 videos did nothing at all. And most creators like, oh, okay, we spent so much time. We spent like 6 months trying to come up with, who this person is. But his 3rd and 4th video got over, 1,000 views. And then they went and watched those other content. They started binge watching the other content, and it started to lift the whole channel. And then, the next video after that got 10,000 views. And so he's on the journey to 1 million subscribers, but also, a really, really loyal audience, because the comment to view ratio is off the freaking charts. Like when you look at it, it's like, oh my gosh, I learned this, or there's an engagement. And that's kind of the thing that I look for, is like, if you really brought value, into it, that if the comments literally almost outweigh the views, and where he was the comment to view ratio, like on 1,000, he was like getting 100 comments. It's like, 10% of the comment, like people were engaging, is insane. But when it elevated a little bit higher, it was almost 30%. So it was like 30% of the people. So it's like YouTube's trying to figure out who the audience is right now. I feel like we have that audience. And then his biggest video is about to come out, that he's been working on for quite some time. That's really going to set it home, because it's more pop culture. It's going to bring in a little bit broader audience, but then there's going to be a library of them to consume.
Nice. Yeah. So much value in that. Yeah. And one of the things, just to kind of recap on Reddit, also is, I think one of the cool things there is, kind of in alignment with what you were talking about, in terms of being able to go there and figure out, like, okay, what do people like get excited about? What do they love? What bothers them? What annoys them? What characters or, things specifically do they talk about? What things are they confused over? Like you can just pull so much information from Reddit in terms of just trying to understand a group of people. So yeah, that's a super valuable resource for anybody that's watching this right now. So Derral, one thing that I do also want to talk about, because, I have this thing going across the bottom of the screen telling people to get tickets at vidsummit.com. So I probably should have done this first in terms of giving, people some context here. But VidSummit is a conference, in case, you're watching, you haven't heard of it. It's a conference for content creators. It happens in Dallas, Texas. It's on its 11th year now, correct? 12th year. 12th year.
Look at us.
Yeah, time flying, right? So it's on its 12th year, and it's just an amazing conference if you're a serious content creator. Derral, so when it comes to VidSummit, could you just give us some insights on VidSummit? Why did you start VidSummit? What in terms of the journey of VidSummit and creators, that are going to VidSummit, can you just give us some insights on what VidSummit is all about?
Yeah. So VidSummit, it started by necessity. And I'll kind of explain what that necessity is. And so one of the things that I love to do is to share what I know, because I believe the more that you give, the more you receive. And I would get so much value out of people's presentations that would kind of fill in the blank of things that I was struggling with or whatever. And so I vowed, like, if anyone would ask me to, speak or keynote at an event, that I would make it a priority. I wanted to give back to that. And so I was out and about doing all these conferences. And at the same time, I saw a lot of my friends on YouTube get a whole bunch of views, but they weren't treating YouTube like a business. They didn't understand the economy of the creator economy, because it wasn't really a thing back then. And I see them come and go, and I'm like, man, you're totally missing the part of the business. Like, you're a media company, not a YouTuber. If you can treat it like that, there's so much more opportunities that you can go from there. And so I was looking for that event. Like, what event would actually facilitate and connect to the creator and help them on their journey? And there wasn't one. There literally wasn't one. VidCon was the closest thing, but it was like this creator fan experience. And so there's like this disconnect where brands is trying to get with creators and fans. And so it wasn't really catered to, hey, we want to help you with you as a creator and your team. So let's go from there. So one of the things that I do is I don't necessarily complain or say, oh, I wish this would happen. I'm like, I'm going to do it. And so I decided the best way to do this was, who do I want to learn from? And I invited him to speak at the first Vid Summit. You know, I literally picked people that I wanted to see on stage, and we had 74 people show up to that first Vid Summit. And I mean, Owen Video was there. Like he was just like brand new, like he was coming out of kindergarten or something like that. But it was just like, we just had this curated list of people that I wanted to learn from, and they got on stage. And so I did 3 presentations there, and they did presentations there. And what was interesting was it was the first time that creators kind of opened up and started to share what they're doing and inspiring those that are in the crowd. And what was crazy is a lot of the people that were in that first Vid Summit, they've built empires, literally empires in this business. They saw the opportunity from there. And then that's all we did, is just made it an annual thing where I just selected the people I wanted to learn from, or would bring insight, put them on the stage. And, we bootstrapped this thing. We weren't really aggressively going after it. It's kind of like the Fight Club. We weren't really talking about it much, but it just always grew. And we were okay, when you could talk about the Fight Club, right? We were okay with that. But after year 3, we just had this culture of everybody was coming. It was more about giving than receiving. And the more people gave, the more people received, and it just kind of took off. And what was beautiful from that was just seeing, the industry mature a little bit, and then people are like, "Oh my gosh!" Seeing this creator economy come, and as we did it, it was interesting seeing people come, in the audience and see so much value. And the next year they're on stage doing a keynote or whatever. And I'll never forget it. Like we had this creator come. I invited him because he was really, really interested in YouTube, and he was sitting in the back of the audience, and there's probably I would say about 700 people at that Vid Summit. And I would say maybe 30 people knew who he was. And before you know it, the next year he made some pretty big splashes. He was doing a keynote the next year, and that's Mr. Beast. It's just like really weaving into this. And so for me, I just love it because it's all about the creator economy. We do not focus in on the fans. We focus in on the business side. It's like, how do we make you more effective to create better content to impact the world in a positive way? How do we help you with your process systems, teams? What do you need? And ultimately, that's what Vid Summit's about. And I can honestly say this last year, I guess the last 2 years, has been exactly what I dreamed Vid Summit to be, which we have an amazing culture. And you're very much aware of that, and you're very much a part of that. But the coolest thing is we're finally getting brands that are coming in, and seeing the value that we brought. And we have a brand that's coming in, Nick, that I never thought in a million years that we'd ever get. And it's General Motors. Like, why would General Motors do it? And I'll tell you how it happened. The individual who's now the CMO of General Motors had been an attendee for 3 years at Vid Summit.
Nice.
And saw the value, and then like, oh no, we need to be there. That's the future of where we need to be for our launches and stuff like that. So it's just so great to see the community on the other side coming in. And then 2, it just opens up so many more doors. Like, what I love is like, we have people that have gotten married because of Vid Summit. I know that's weird, but they met each other.
No, that's great.
That's where it started. Yeah. We got people that are now partners, I guess, married in business, in this. And then 2, they've done some pretty amazing things. And it's all because, we're crazy enough to come together to do a conference. Conferences are the most difficult thing because they're the most expensive thing ever in the history of all mankind. They really are. They don't make you a ton of money, but I do it for the culture. I do it for the love. I do want to pass it on. I want to help people, and if we're in the black, okay, that's great. We'll do it again this next year. But for us, that's what Vid Summit is, and that's how it started.
Yeah, that's great. And when you talk about the culture of Vid Summit, I mean, I think for that, like if you're somebody that hasn't been to Vid Summit and you hear somebody talking about that, for the people that have been there, like when you go to Vid Summit, you're like, oh, this is what everybody was talking about. Like it's just absolutely amazing in terms of the openness that everybody has, how welcome everybody, kind of makes everybody else feel, the information that's freely shared there. I've personally been in the situation, and I've heard a lot of other people say the same thing in terms of, I got the value out of Vid Summit before Vid Summit even started.
Wow.
by just, coming there and, hanging out, and kind of getting ready for Vid Summit with the other people that were, getting there early. And, that type of, impact is huge, because if you're getting value out of it before it even starts, then what's coming, that the tidal wave of value that's coming, once the thing gets going. So congratulations to you in terms of, taking it as far as you have. You've done an amazing job with that, as you already know, in terms of, just, building it up, plus just the culture, and the experience that you've created when it comes to Vid Summit. So congratulations to you for that.
No, I appreciate that. And it's not me. It's everybody that comes. And you mentioned, oh, should I go? Is it worth it? I don't understand the value. I mean, that's kind of the hesitation that a lot of people think, oh, $1,000. Why would I spend $1,000 on a ticket? And the whole thing about it is you can't explain. You can't explain. Everybody thinks, oh, it's the presentations. I can just buy the presentations there. That's not what Vid Summit is. And when you go there, it's like you're surrounded by the similar types of people. You really are. The people that see the opportunity, the creator economy. The biggest thing for me is seeing these keynotes that come in. Okay. And this is crazy, because when I noticed this about 5 years ago, I'm like, oh my gosh, we have something here. Which most keynotes will come in, they get paid a ton of money for a keynote, which we don't do that. They have to do it for passion, because we just don't have the money to just kind of throw that down. But they come and then they bounce, they just leave, right? And we had a keynote, one of the biggest YouTubers of all time, not Mr. Beast, but Preston Plays. And he came in, did his keynote, and it was like so amazing. It was so great. And then 2 sessions later, he was in the audience, like taking notes. I'm like, we have something good. For having a keynote, someone there that also says, look, I can learn just as much as I can give. And just taking notes, that's just massive. And so I've seen that a lot over the years. And then too, there's people that go on stage that are the YouTube educators. Like, I want to take care of my people too. I want to make sure that they have a platform as well. But there's other people that don't have a platform that have this most amazing story and case study that they'll never, ever share unless you give them a platform to do it. Because it's like they're out in their own little world. This is not their first rodeo. But they're giving so much. Like, I have a creator coming. He was a keynote last year, but he's like, dude, I want to come back. I cracked the code on uploading less and making more money. I'm like, sold, let's do it.
Yep. Yeah, that's a win. Yeah.
Yeah, like Jordan Barkley. And he's coming all the way. He's bringing his team all the way from Australia because he got so much value out of it. But his heart was, I want to help creators that literally are trying to upload way too much. And I want to share with them how to upload less and make more money. And he was showing me the data, and I'm like, he was making 3x more money by uploading less. I'm like, that is the type of presentation that we need to have at Vid Summit for sure.
Yeah, I'll be sitting in on that one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing, and I'm not going to throw them under the bus, just because I don't want to like name drop. But one thing that helps me, in addition to the culture of Vid Summit and all the things you learn and things like that, is every time I go to another conference, and everything kind of has its place, right? And everything has its unique value. But it's like every time I go to another conference, I just went to one locally here last weekend, pretty big one in Bangkok. And every time I go to another conference, like when I'm there, like Vid Summit is my benchmark in terms of like, how does this compare to Vid Summit? And like nothing ever comes close in terms of the comparison. So again, a lot of great value in other, conferences as well. But for content creators, Vid Summit is hands down where it's at, so to speak.
D has some struggle with Vid Summit. I understand that, but his struggle happens after Vid Summit, not during Vid
some
Summit.
PTSD there. Yeah. That's good stuff.
Like he could literally write a book on that thing. I'm still waiting for it, D. So like,
yeah, he stepped away for a second. So yeah, he can't hear what you're saying right now. We're in here talking about you, D. So, we got John Pullman here as well. Roberto Blake, what's going on, dude? Hope you are doing fantastic. Also, given an endorsement there as well for Vid Summit, as many others have done in this chat as well. So nice to see you in here, everybody. So Derral, so when it comes to YouTube, so let's talk more about YouTube in terms of some questions. Do you want to answer some viewer questions?
I'll do whatever you want to do. I always like to answer questions, so that'd be great.
Okay. So the very first, so what we'll do is we'll do a few questions, and then we'll have some side conversations, and then hop in and do, a few more questions. We'll just kind of, go with that. But I just kind of want, I just want people to see your expertise and the depth of, the information that you have, because, again, you've been on YouTube since it started pretty much. And, through that, you've worked with tons of content creators. You've worked with the biggest content creators on YouTube. And in terms of like the data and experiences and, all that stuff, like you've got it all. So one thing that I do want to ask you when it comes to YouTube specifically, before we actually get into this question, is your view on YouTube in, I'm just going to say 2026, because, we're coming to the end here of 2025. So your view of YouTube in 2025 in terms of things that content creators need to be focusing on right now, in terms of, opportunities that you see for content creators, because there's a lot of, kind of worry right now, with all of the, AI stuff, like you mentioned earlier, coming into YouTube. So in terms of the opportunities that you see, in terms of, the things that creators, from your experience, need to be focused on in the ending part of 2025 and moving into 2026. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm the most optimistic about YouTube's future than I've ever been before.
Nice.
I think we're at a unique place in YouTube. And I do believe we're seeing a massive shift. So one of the things that I've been noticing in 2025 is RPM, CPMs is starting to really come in aggressively, like really, really aggressively. So I think, old media is starting to be not as used by these bigger brands, and they're shifting over to YouTube. And so that equates to, this huge opportunity. And then secondarily, the thing that I'm the most excited about is YouTube on the TV, and not YouTube TV, but I would say YouTube on the TV. It's been about a year and a half since YouTube overtook. It's like the number one most consumed platform on TV, and it's aggressively gaining ground. So that does two things for me. Number one, it makes you more money as a content creator, because people aren't in a lean back experience. They're just watching, and they're not just like ADHD trying to just flip and click. They're just like lean back. And so they'll actually have a lot more viewer retention on video. So they'll watch longer. And the longer they watch, the more ads can fire. And then secondarily, YouTube TV. If you take YouTube and YouTube TV, that's close to 54% of all viewership on TV. Like if you put those two things combined, you're going to start seeing more content creators like Mark Rober. He just launched a Netflix series, and Mr. Beast did an Amazon Prime series. You're going to start seeing more content creators do that as well, but using YouTube TV. Like I think there's longer form video content is going to be consumed, and there's a huge opportunity. And then there's a licensing play off of YouTube. And so for me, I'm probably the most bullish I've ever been on YouTube just because of the maturity of the platform. And then also the tools that YouTube's given creators is just massive. And then lastly, I know everybody's like so concerned about AI and the oversaturation of everything. We've been through this rodeo before. Like there always is a course correct, but YouTube's giving us AI tools to make us better content creators, right? And so it's just like we're at this pinnacle moment where there is no excuse not to make amazing content. There is no excuse not to use the tools to make amazing content to really engage. And so for me, I think it's going to be easier to grow. And I think there's going to be an insurgence of the old style of YouTube too. I think the raw style of, hey, I'm just capturing it. It's as live as you get, or almost unedited. I think you're going to see a lot of that start. I'm already seeing it starting to take off as well. So like, I think YouTube's in the most amazing place that you can be because of the economics, but also the expanding of the viewership. And we're not just talking United States, we're talking worldwide here too. And between those two combinations, it's like a very passionate person can deliver content of value. And if they do that consistently, they're actually going to grow really massively on YouTube.
Do you recommend, on the TV side of things, do you recommend content creators of all kinds consider TV viewership when it comes to making the content? Or do you recommend that first you just look in your, analytics and see if you have people watching on TV, and if not, decide to push into that or not? Or if so, then maybe try to make the better experience for them there. What tips do you have for content creators right now moving into 2026 for the actions they should be taking for TV?
Yeah, it just depends on the creator. So there's a lot of creators that like short form vertical video. That's not a TV experience. So I'm never going to say, hey, go on TV for this. It's just never going to happen. However, everybody else, I would say, lean in on that traffic source. There's a way to do it. There's an opportunity there. And then two, I think it's going to elevate the type of content as well. I think, in a lean back experience, you don't have to be as fast paced. You don't have to have this fast little edit cut, of a video where, things can develop. And I think that's going to happen very consistently on YouTube. And so for me, I can tell you for a fact, every one of my students, I'm like, where are they watching it from? What is their traffic source? Like, what device? Is it a TV? And we're trying to weave into this. And I just had one of my students reach out. They're from Argentina. And we had this really, really in-depth conversation. And I mean, it's changed their life. Like they're getting US money in Argentina, and then the world is their platform. And their number one traffic source for the type of content that generally people wouldn't consider as content that would be watched on TV is TV. It's like 80% of their viewership.
Oh, wow.
And their videos are like an hour long. And so it's like when you really lock that down, when YouTube finds the audience that's doing it, it can be a game changer for sure. So yes, I would say anyone that's not just a shorts creator, if you're shorts plus, regular video creator, then I would say, yeah, let's lean into TV, because that is the most interesting type of view that you can get because of their willingness to commit. Their willingness to commit to something to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing when it comes to TV, right? I mean, if you look at your own, kind of consumption when it comes to you're sitting in front of the TV, you're usually not trying to flip through a bunch of stuff. You're trying to find something that you can actually commit to. And that's like the part of the, TV viewing process. So I guess, yeah, being able to lean into that.
But let's weave like from a humanities side of it. Cause like, remember I talk about psychographics.
Yeah.
So generally when someone's watching on the phone, it's for their own personal enjoyment. And they're like, oh, yeah, I'm going to show you this. If I'm interested in that, I'll share it with you. But if not, it's just more, hey, I'm just in it. And they might be, somewhere on the go or whatever. Even on the computer, it's not that way. It's not like people are gathering around a computer to watch content. But when you're in a living room, when you're in an entertainment room, when you're in a common area where the TV is a focal point, then you're watching content together. Like one of the best series by far, not even a close second on YouTube, is the Ryan Trahan series that we just all watched, 50 Days, 50 States. And I'm telling you, families, grandmas, grandpas, parents, kids, grandkids, were all watching that series together. Now, it only got one view, but it had like 10 viewers. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Just like the impact was massive on it. And so I do love that. And if you can package content that would bring a broader appeal of value, okay, great. That's when fandom can really happen, when it's like, oh, it's a gathering moment, either with friends, a gathering moment with people that just love that thing, or family. That's why I kind of lean into that really heavily.
So let me ask you this: when it comes to TV viewership, and I'll use Stanley Orchard because I saw him in here earlier. Yeah, there he is. So Stanley makes fishing content, and Stanley. Yeah. So Stanley makes fishing content. So in a case like Stanley's, what would you recommend to him? And people that make are okay to make longer form content, like in terms of like optimizing for the TV experience. What would you recommend in terms of like the video structure? Like when somebody comes into the video, how should you do that for the TV experience for somebody like Stanley's fishing content?
Yeah. So let's use that very specifically. So when I look at it, it's not saying, oh, we're going to make content for TV. What we're going to do is make content for someone that's watching TV, watching YouTube on TV. Right. And so it's more about setting that packaging just right, where people want to click on it. I mean, packaging is the most important part, because if they don't click, they don't watch, right? So it's like, we need to get the title thumbnail so it is appealing. And then realistically, it's the setup. Now they're not gonna drop off within 5 seconds on a TV. That just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way, right? So you got to hook them and then just set up what the video is going to be about, or what the journey is going to be about. So if Stanley is going on a fishing run, it's more about what's happening. That's usually the title of your content. But why are we doing this? Why is someone going to commit to an hour for this? What is that storyline that's going from there? And I think the more we focus in on setting up the storyline and then keeping our guardrails on that story, so we're not like going, 10 minutes over here and then coming back to it where people forget about it. It's just like, no, we're on this journey together because this is what we're trying to do. And this is why we're trying to do it. And I think the more that happens, it's there. But what I would do if I was Stanley, I'd go into analytics, and I would go through, okay, which videos are bringing the TV traffic source already, and which ones have a higher percentage. And I'd say, what do these videos have in common? What are the things that are there? And then I would start making more of that content. And then to be hyper fixated on setting up that story of why someone should watch that video, and what is that shareable moment? What is that impact moment within the content?
Great. Yeah, I hope you appreciate that, Stanley. Called you out on that one. Yeah, that's good. So when it comes to retention, specifically for TVs, have you noticed anything in terms? Well, you did mention already about not, the necessity that people feel to, make everything snappy and fast, and, like super fast cuts and things like that. So in terms of patterns across, all the different channels that you work with, when it comes to TV, just like a lot less of that stuff is what you recommend, and more of the things that you just mentioned in terms of kind of setting it up, giving people context of what they're getting ready to get into, and so on.
Yeah. So it just depends on who your audience is. Like, who are we communicating to? Some people you're going to need to do some faster edits, maybe in the beginning, and then you can set it up. So on and so forth. But some of the bigger channels right now, you might think, oh, wait, Gen Z, Gen A, they can't even hold their attention longer than 6 seconds. And so we got to cut it up from there. Some of the most thriving channels on YouTube right now are the uncut, unedited versions of content. And these are gaming content. These are other types of content. I just watched it was like an hour and a half video of family friendly content. And there's people that have come into Vid Summit quite a bit of time, but they're really, really good storytellers. And they kept it engaged, but their number one traffic source is almost 90% is coming from TV. Wow. And the reason why is they've created a TV experience, where they've taken what they've learned from what makes a good YouTube video and then put it in a longer form video. So
yeah, good. Yeah. Smart. So we're going to hop in here and answer some questions really quick. So the next question that we have here, or the first question I should say, from since you came on, is from Steve's Wildlife. Steve's Wildlife, he does wildlife and bird content, and he's asking about vertical live streams. Do you have any recommendations for how to get the most out of a vertical live stream compared to a landscape live stream?
Yeah. So. When I'm looking at, why I would do a live stream and who would be watching what, vertical isn't a big commitment. It's a swipe, right? So it's like a swipe and an engagement. So I would say it's the less committed viewer that you could possibly have. And so if that live stream is not engaging with them on a vertical format, they're just swiping up very, very fast, right? And so don't get me wrong. I think, there's certain things that could be done in that, but I would say they're the least committed viewer that you'd possibly can get. So if you're asking for me, is it more better to do vertical versus the other? I would say, well, what are you trying to do? Because if you're trying to sell product, I would do vertical video 1000%. Like there's not a world that I wouldn't do that, because there's a rage that's been happening, and we're like 5 years behind China, but it's slowly coming over here where people are coming on and buying. You can see a lot in TikTok shops and a lot of things that are happening there is starting to translate over here onto YouTube, and YouTube's creating those tools for it. So if that's the case, I would do it that way for sure. It's easy to do. Low barrier of entry. You're not cluttering up. Oh, what he's live streaming or whatever. It's less commitment, but yet if the activation is for them to buy, I would go from there. But in your specific case, I would say I want a more committed viewer. And if you're a birder, dude, they are the most psychotic niche of people that you can ever have as a group. And what I mean by that is they're passionate. I'll tell you about, I had a really, really close friend. He's older than me. He's kind of a mentor of mine. And his buddy were birders. And I'm like, let's go on a vacation, whatever. And, we went down to Mexico on vacation, and all they wanted to do is go freaking find birds. And I'm like, what's so interesting about this? But, they're videographers, but they love to capture the birds. But, they're buying books, they're buying apps, they're trying to understand certain, sounds, they're doing the calls, just try to, get people to come in. They're really obsessed with it. That's great. And the reason why it comes, they're not really psychotic, but it's just like, they're very passionate about it, right? And so for me, if I was making content, I'm like, okay, what would warrant a live stream? Is it, I'm going to go find this rare bird that's never been seen, I'm going to live stream it? That's banger. Like, I think it's banger, from nth degree. And with Starlink now, you can go to the remote, jungles of wherever and have a really great live stream. I've done it. And so for me, it's just more understanding, the difference between the two. And I would say I would love, your content to be about the journey and the discovery, and then marking the birds off the list. Like if you're going after, it's like have your big list of all the birds that you want to do. And then in the video, it's like, hey, I cut this one here. We have videos underneath where we've seen all these birds, because that's what people are looking for. Like, oh, where did they see that? Because I'm telling you, the guys that I was friends with, I'm still friends with them. They would have conversations and they'd see, oh, someone found this bird, and they plan a whole vacation around just to try to go see a freaking bird.
Oh, wow.
it's just like, that's why I was saying it's psychotic. It's like, they're just like, no, they found this one. It's on my list. I don't have it. I'm going to go spend, a week trying to see this bird.
Yeah, so I think you got that. I think you've got that one covered on the on the birds. Oh, love that.
There you go, Stanley. You got it.
So the next question that we have here is from Restart Living. They upload when they have time, but on YouTube for a year or more, they do health and wellness content. And they said, do my thumbnails and channel grab the attention well enough, or should I consider changing something? I've been following you for a while now and trying to implement all the things that you recommend. So let's take a look here really quick. And let me just go ahead and get this pulled up. And we're going to let Derral, if he's okay with this, we're going to let him actually give some feedback on your thumbnails. So let's see here. So I'm just going to pick a random thumbnail here, and we will just say, oops, hold on. Looks like they might be uploading low quality images, possibly. Yeah, they are. So we can't even zoom in on that, unfortunately. So yeah, so we're going to have to do it the old school way and just do this. And we will just come down to here.
Okay, so what was their, what was their content? I see what their content is here. I just wanted to make sure that it translates.
Yeah, so it says, at Restart Living, we provide a unique methodology in injury prevention, pain management, conditioning, and peak performance training.
Okay. Okay, so I think the biggest thing is I think it's appealing. I think the thumbnails are appealing. You need to do higher quality for sure. I'm not a big fan of, hey, it's 14 minutes. I know that's kind of like a standard, in some of these spaces, but like I want to grab attention. And sometimes like I need to know what the water aerobics is for. So like if we're doing it for recovery, is it like for your knee or your back or whatever? I think you're close. It would just be, these types of workouts that are resistant, with water. And then to what the audience is. Now, that being said, most of the people that do water aerobics is either going through recovery and or a boomer. And so I would make it appealing for boomers if it was me. If I saw myself in that, unless you're trying to go after the athletic training, but just keep in mind, it will probably just be a resource channel instead of a channel that they're like really trying to dive into. And so, if it more looks like the specific audience, the better, but these are not bad thumbnails. I'd probably saturate the blue a little bit more so it grabs the attention, but these are pretty good.
What do you think? What do you think about the title? Just while we're here on it, what do you think about kind of stuffing the title like this?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the bars. That was like 2008, 2009. So I like get away from that. And then for me, intro to water aerobics. I don't mind the 14 minutes, but I'd put that at the very, very 14-minute workout. You can put it at the very, very end of the title. But for me, it's like, well, what is this, right? Like, what is that resistance or whatever? So I'd probably lean in a little bit more into your title strategy for sure.
Boom. Thanks for that, Derral. Appreciate it. And the next question that we have here, let me ask you this. So when it comes to a channel like that, so for somebody that is trying to grow that fan base that we were talking about earlier and trying to keep people coming back. So on that channel, I'm going to guess they're probably going to be in a situation to where once somebody kind of gets up to speed, they're not necessarily going to need the content anymore. But what type of strategies do you have for, a channel like that where it is kind of, utility-ish in terms of like, hey, I need this for right now, but then I'm going to move on. What type of tips do you have for them to try to, just keep people engaged for a little bit longer?
Yeah. So the thing that I look for the most is the acquisition retention and then delaying the churn rate. Like I don't want the churn rate down. So the acquisition would be more around what's going on in their life. Why would they need water aerobics? I'd start breaking down the different scenarios to do it. And then really hone a journey around that said issue. So if the said issue is So my wife just barely had back surgery, got a fused disc and replaced a disc, and it's pretty aggressive. Well, she can't get in the water for like 8 weeks. Like, they're just not happening. However, that being said, once it's done, she's going to be on a journey of trying to do low impact but high resistant type of training. So I would look at just the different scenarios that would use water aerobics, and then try to create a process that they're going through. And then two, don't think of the one-off. Like so many people do the one-off video. It's like, oh no, we made an hour video here that's helping you, helping you with this, or it could be a series of videos that they're able to do. It's like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or whatever that is, and you're helping them get into the routine. Now, what Nick said is once they have the routine down, they're probably not going to watch the videos. They're going to say, okay, it's part of my routine. Thank you very much. And the best way to do that is the willingness to give them more. And usually at the end of the video, they're like, hey, go watch this video for this or watch the video for there. But I always like to try to figure out a different value prop. So if they came in, because they're, hey, I got my hurt knee and it was resistance, and I'm trying to repair my knee, and I'm going through this process of rehab, and I'm doing these things in that. It's just like, how do I make this more a part of my routine? And it could be, here's a value prop that would be with this specific injury and or recovery that would go deeper, right? And it could be, hey, once this is done, you don't want to go away from it. Here's another way to use swimming to actually burn calories or X, Y, or Z, and then go through that. And
to prevent future injury, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So that like for me, that's what I always like to do, is look at how they would discover. And most of the people would be discovering your content in the beginning will be coming from search. But what I want to do is switch that, which would be, hey, I need to start some injury recovery here. But here's all the other videos that would be suggested and or come through browse traffic because of, I thought through the viewer's journey of where they're at. And so keep in mind, generally, you're probably going to be at 3 months to 4 months max on this type of channel of bringing a new viewer in before they really consume it, unless they have a TV at their pool and they can kick it on and it's more about that water aerobics experience that they usually get in pool, having someone coach them and whatever. That could work too, but you don't have a lot of people that have a pool that have a TV like that.
Sure. So the next question that we have here is from the Pursuit of Inner Peace. And with this one, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this one. They have a mental health channel, and the goal is to be a full-time content creator. But they mention here that they haven't uploaded in a few months just because they've gotten discouraged. And they say that they know YouTube is a marathon, not a sprint. So when it comes to content creators getting discouraged, so here, in the live stream, we have content creators. Some of them, are just getting started. We have, a lot of people here that have been on YouTube for a year or more, some of them 3 years and more, some of them even longer than that. But when it comes to that discouraging side of, being a content creator, and I know, like in your case, you're a doer in terms of, like you find a way. But for people that do get discouraged when it comes to maybe the progress that they're making, what type of recommendations do you have for people that are kind of hitting a wall right now in terms of not necessarily encouragement? Because, hey, Brian G. Johnson in the house, what's up, Brian? Not necessarily encouragement in terms of like, you can do it, but more so like, like maybe these are some things that you can try to, get more involved.
Yeah. So, with my group coaching, the first week that we go through, we don't talk about YouTube at all. And a lot of content creators like, I thought we were going to talk about YouTube. Why are we doing this? But we talk about vision, mission, and purpose, and goal setting. And I do believe when you're really passionate about something, there's ways to engage that passion that will have you push and do things more. But it's easier to re-engage. So at the end of the day, if you're in therapy, I would assume that you get a lot of value out of helping someone come to a realization and helping transform their life. And you're able to see that shift because of what you're contributing. And so I like to take that time to just establish what we're trying to create and why we're trying to create it within a vision, a mission, and purpose. And then what I would do is not focus in on, the view count. Like I wouldn't focus in on the analytics. I know that seems kind of backwards coming from me, but you need to focus in on who you're helping and how to package it in a way to go from there. Because like generally, if you're not getting the success, you're not appealing to a specific group of individuals that need help. And you might think of one thing, but it's so sporadic that YouTube's having a hard time to understanding who your ideal viewer is. And so you gotta hone and own. And what I mean by that is like, you got to figure out what your lane is. So is it mental health challenges for Gen Z? Because that would be approached differently than mental health challenges for millennials, believe it or not. There's just a different process in a system. So you got to understand who you're trying to communicate with, and then you got to look at the landscape of what's going on. Like right now, the number one cause of mental health is this. It really is.
Not surprised.
And it's like you can approach it that way. And so there might be a course, there might be something that you can give a value. You might be able to showcase with that. But
I just need to interrupt for a second and let everybody know the mental health crisis is owning an Android. I just need to be clear.
Is that what it is? You have an Android? Is that what it is?
Yes. The number one mental health crisis is not owning an iPhone. I just needed to be clear. Sorry to interrupt, Derral. Please continue.
No, I do appreciate that. That helped my mental health laugh a little bit. So, no, but it's like honing and owning who you're bringing value to, and then being very consistent of bringing that similar type of value. Like you got to be able to branch it out. So instead of trying to do it for everyone, let's look into a specific audience and demographic, and then that's easier to come up with ideas or say, oh, so-and-so felt this way and this is kind of their journey and I can bring a lot more value with somebody like that. So there's several ways you can do it. I would say the biggest thing is like who you're trying to impact. Let's narrow it down a little bit on what it is, and then what's the best way to bring them value consistently. But let's not look at the analytics, but let's just really look at how do we package it right? How do we set it up where they're really coming into the video and they know what they're getting, and then two, we're not disconnecting from that content that they need, because the only way that you're going to help them is if they're going to get through that video.
Yeah, so really just digging deep and finding a good why, figuring out, trying to really get a good understanding of like what you're doing and why, right? So that they can, that why and that purpose can be the motivation to keep going and trying to see it through even when the view counts are low, right?
But let's talk about this, because there's other people that maybe are not as passionate of helping someone and they're just wanting to be successful on YouTube. It's like their why is, I want to be successful on YouTube. I'm here to tell you that is the worst case scenario you can ever have. Like I want to be successful on YouTube. I will do anything from there, because what happens is there will always be a point of you questioning, why am I doing this? Instead of saying, I'm really passionate about this. This is the type of content I want to create on YouTube, and I want to be the biggest content creator when it comes to this. Then you're all in. It's easier to actually manage because your passion is around content that can engage a community and you can grow, instead of saying, oh, I just want success and I don't care where it's at. I know that you can make money on YouTube. I just want to make the money on YouTube, or I want to be famous. And so I'm willing to do everything. And so you do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then that's where a lot of mental health issues come in, because you're like, man, I just don't feel like I'm doing it. Well, it's like, let me give you the perfect example of this, because like she's crushing it right now. But I met this lady at Vid Summit, believe it or not, and she came to Vid Summit. We had a great conversation, and she goes, "Man, really need to do a consult with you." And I'm like, "Well, why wait? Let's talk about what you're doing right now." And she's like, "I just want to bang my head against the wall and creating content." And I'm like, well, why? Like, why do you want to bang your head against the wall? And she goes, every time I go to create content, I'm just like, why am I doing this? And so I'm like, give me your channel. And so I'm looking in on it, and she would kind of feature pop sockets. Those are the things that kind of, go on the back of
your
your
phone. Who you're talking about. Yeah. Go ahead.
And she's like, I don't know what to do. Well, she actually became my student, and the journey was getting her passion. And the first question I asked her, I go, what are you really passionate about? And she goes, I went to law school and passed the bar and was an attorney. I'm like, wait, I said, hold up. I go, you're an attorney and you're trying to sell pop sockets. And she goes, yeah, like that's where I'm at, and I'm like, oh, come on, girl. Like we got to fix this. I go, what are you really passionate about? She goes, I love the law, but I don't like litigation. Like, I'm very fascinated with it. And I'm like, well, where do you want to go with this? And she goes, honestly, like, I love true crime stuff. I love digging into case files and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, let's go ahead and do that. Like, you're passionate about it. The coolest thing ever, Nick, like, this is the coolest thing ever. Like, I didn't do anything for her. Like, it was just helping her get clarity of what she wanted to do, and then helped her see how to leverage it in a way where she could grow, take that passion and grow an audience. Not only did she pivot her pop socket channel to a true crimes channel, she was the number 2 podcast, just under Joe Rogan, the number 2 podcast worldwide. Yep. Like, insane. And she's doing what she loves. Like, seriously, like, she's literally doing what she loves. And she wakes up every day and is excited about her podcast, her channel. She has multiple, because she's a media company, not a YouTuber, right? She's able to do all this stuff. And it's just, it's life transforming when you're passionate about something, you have an audience that's passionate about something. They might leave a comment like, oh my gosh, and she gets excited over things. That's where you want to be as a content creator. You don't want to just go into it where it's like, oh, I want to have success here, because it'll come and go. I can guarantee it. If the passion's not there, it'll come and go.
100%. Yeah, congratulations to her too. Like, that's I saw her post on Facebook. I think it was maybe a week or two ago, posting about hitting that number 2 spot. So yeah, pretty awesome seeing that. So the next question that we have here is from Derek J. Speaks. But before we get into this next question, I do want to remind everybody, there's a conference going on here in October, from October 7th to October 9th in Dallas, Texas. It's called Vid Summit, and it is the conference for content creators. If you're somebody that is, taking this stuff seriously, you're wanting to turn your YouTube into something, or your channel's already heading in that direction and you're trying to figure out how to take it to the next level, Vid Summit is the place for you and where you're going to find out how to do that. So to learn more about Vid Summit and to grab a ticket right now, you can go to vidsummit.com, and that website's going to have all the information that you need on it. And it's going to show you like the speaker lineup and just give you more, information about Vid Summit. But if you are somebody that's serious about, this content thing that we do, then make sure that you do check it out at vidsummit.com.
One of my favorite things about Vid Summit is we had someone that says, oh, would love to come to Vid Summit, really want to grow. And this person had 300 subscribers and came. And he helped me on a couple things as a PA, and so he was like kind of tagging along with some of the conversations. And I was having a conversation with 2 of the bigger content creators, and he was just there. He was a part of the circle. He wasn't looked frowned upon. Like, that's what I love about Vid Summit. It's like, oh, you don't only have 300 subscribers. What are you doing here? It's more about, oh, okay, let's have the conversation. We're all colleagues here,
right?
And so,
and even in that case, it's like, oh, you have 300 subscribers. Let me check it. Let me look at your channel real quick.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah, that's what happens. So it's like, oh, really? Yeah. Let me take a look at your channel real quick. See if we can help you. See if we can help you level that up. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was there, and the conversation was literally leaning into how detailed they're looking at their viewer, and it just clicked for him. It just clicked. And the next year he had 5 million subscribers coming into it. Ooh. And this is not short form. This is this is not vertical video. This is long form video, right? And the cool thing about it is you never know the conversations that you're going to have, or what you just said, which is people that they're not going to see, oh, you're beneath us because you're not here. No, that's not what Vid Summit's about. It's like, oh, let's take a look and see what you're doing. Oh, I've been in this same issue and you might want to consider this. It's the people that think that they know everything that's not going to benefit at VidSummit. The people that says, no, I know it all. What are you going to teach me? Okay, go somewhere else. Because honestly, the people that go there is like they're more students than they are anything else. They want to learn, and they want to surround themselves by people that can teach them. And I can tell you, there's a 78-year-old lady on YouTube that taught me more about YouTube than any other content creator. And it really helped me understand something that I didn't even understand at the time that is now a main focal point, right? And she just asked questions. I'm like, I never even thought about that in that way. And it led me on a journey of discovering literally the YouTube formula. I can guarantee that. Yeah.
Nice. Which, by the way, YouTube formula right here. It's Derral's book. I don't think I mentioned that in your intro. Actually, it's like laying on the desk, so it's just kind of like always there, for us. but yeah. So this is Derral's book, YouTube formula. I'm pretty sure I have a link to this down in the video description, so you can go down there and check this out. But this is a great book to like really get a better understanding of YouTube. So make sure that you do.
You wait till version 2 comes out. Version 2, I've been working on that. It's really good. Do
you have a release date for it?
We're still working with the publisher on that, so we're closer. So,
all right,
we might.
Yeah, there's an audio version as well for that too. So if you're somebody that likes to listen instead of read, you can also get the audiobook for that as well. Can't recommend it enough. So so the next question that we have here is from Derek J. Speaks. Derek J. Speaks. They have been on YouTube for 1 year or more. And the question is, I started a commentary channel with no intended direction, and I got monetized in about a month. I've talked about a few different topics, and I'm wondering if I should settle down to one niche or if I should continue to be random. What are your thoughts on that, Derral, in terms of somebody having a variety channel or having like a few different types of things they do on a channel versus just narrowing it down and just nailing somebody?
I don't know if it's a variety channel per se. If you're random, maybe you're just talking about what's in the news now, or you're commentating on what's relevant now. I wouldn't say that's a variety channel per se. It's just like you're just talking about what's relevant, right? For me, first off, congrats on getting monetized in a month. That's a big feat. Like honestly, I don't think a lot of content creators realize how difficult it can be get monetized, and you're able to do that. Now, the difference, what I would do, if you were my student, this is what I would tell you to do. Let's go through your library of content. That means all your videos, and see which ones are the most viewed. Okay. And look for a pattern between that, and see if you can see a pattern between your viewership. So like if you're going through the last 90 days of your videos, certain videos get more views than others. And I want you to ask, well, why do these get more views than these? And try to lean in on that. And you're going to find a pattern. You're going to find a theme. There's not a channel that I looked at that I didn't find a theme. If you want to go do this, go to Casey Neistat's channel. Okay, this is all you got to do. Casey Neistat's a YouTuber that's been around for a very long time. A lot of people were looking for him as the gold standard for a lot of period of time. And all I want you to do is go to his videos and then hit on the most popular, and you'll see 16 of his most popular videos, which equates to more than half of all of his views, or it's not even 3/4 of all his views, are around travel reviews, airplane seat reviews. That's what it is. And so what I'm saying there is there's always a pattern of what people are clicking on. So in your case, I would just see what those are in the last 90 days. And then I look at your real-time analytics to see which one's still bringing in views. Are the views just coming in the first 48 hours, or are they kind of spread out? With the ones that are bringing in views consistently, I would look at those and say, okay, why are these doing that? How can I do more content like that? And then that's when it's going to really hone and own your own content strategy.
Love it. Love it. Thank you for that, Derral. And really quick, we had some super chats come in that I'm going to address here really quick. So the first one here is from Circuits FM. Says thumbnails, thumbnails, thumbnails. My viewers use my value proposition in their comments. Learning and growing every single day. Ordered Derral's book. Great live stream. So thank you for that. We have Build with Mooney. Says, thanks for teaching me over 2.5 years now. I'm trying new titles to hit browse specifically. So can you take a look at my latest title for some advice? So Derral, so when it comes to writing titles because I try to express this a lot to people, and I just, I love hearing other ways to express similar ideas, just because, like people explain things differently. So when it comes to writing a title for, like search versus writing a title for home pages versus writing a title for suggested videos, or we'll just say recommendations. So searches versus recommendation. What's the approach that you take if you're targeting one versus the other, if you're writing a title for something?
So I don't try to write a title for search. I don't try to write a title for browse. I don't try to write a title for suggested. When I want to write a title is for a viewer. And for me, it's like, how can I display curiosity enough that they'd want to click? I'll give you a perfect example. This happened yesterday. So one of my friends, his channel is called What's Inside. He also has a channel called What's Inside Family. And all it was, he had a video that came out where he has a Cybertruck, and he says, my Cybertruck powered my house. And I'm like, why do I even need to watch the video, Dan? Like seriously, why do I need to watch? You just told me what the video is about, and I don't even need to watch it because your Cybertruck did that. And so I sent him a text. I says, Dan, could you just change your title for me? And he's like, what do you want me to change it to? I'm like, can my Cybertruck power my house? That's all I wanted, because now there's that curiosity factor of, okay, can I do it? I don't know. How is it going to happen? Because in the video, there was some failure that was happening there too. So it's just like, okay, this is very interesting. I'm very curious about it. So for me, there's not a world that I'm like, oh, I'm going to do a title for search. I'm doing someone that is looking for a video, and the way that they're looking for the video, the viewer that's looking for the video, is they're going to search something. So what would be that title that would bring enough curiosity that they would put in there to pull them in? So I'm always thinking about the viewer. I'm never thinking about the traffic source. And so in browse, I like to keep it simple. I think when a video is simple to understand, simple to pull you in, it's just easy to consume, and multiple level people can consume. But if you look at the biggest videos of all time, it's really simple. It really is. You're like, oh, I'm very curious on that, or I can see why, you go from there. However, that does not translate to the next version of packaging. That's only for titles. There's certain thumbnails that perform better on browse than they do suggested. They just do. Okay. And so I'm more apt to switch out a thumbnail per traffic source than I am a title. So
nice. So this right here specifically is his latest video. So the title is Rebuilding This Cheap Picnic Table I Wish That I Never Bought. So with this particular packaging, what would you change if we were to put you in the hot seat right now, which is, I guess, is what we're kind of doing? What about this? What about this would you change?
Yeah, so I got a lot of questions. The first question would be: did you get that table for free? Did it cost you $2? Like what's going on there? Because I would probably in the thumbnail have $2 and then pointing down, or free and pointing down, right? Because this cheap picnic table came from somewhere, so I need to know this, because that would be a part of the content. And then I would look at, okay, what would be the value prop? Is it how much time, and maybe the time's the factor of how much time it took to reuse or repurpose or rebuild that content. So I'm trying to figure out what would be the angle, because right now I just see picnic table that everybody is, and why would I want to watch this? There's no value for me to do it. And you even told me why am I going to rebuild? I wish I never bought this thing. So why would I want to even watch that? Seriously. So for me, it could be, I got it for free and I'm going to flip it. I'm going to make $100. Okay. I'm now more interested in that than saying, wait, you never wish you would have bought this, so why would I want to watch it? So I'm more looking at the psychology of the viewer, of how they're seeing a package, than I am in any other scenario. So it's what's going to bring me into it, right? And you might say, well, the project's going to bring me into it. Well, you just told me not to watch because you regretted to do that project. So like for me, I like to look at that more than anything else. And then the thing that I always look for is like, what's the lever? There needs to be a lever into this. There needs to be something into it, right? Maybe it's like I'm trying to flip this and make money or whatever. I need to know what that lever is, and then that will help me know how to package a title. Fantastic
advice. So one super
when
chat.
I get critical like this, I just need to put a warning out there. I think we're all learning and growing together. And the hardest thing as a YouTuber, there's not even a close second, is title and thumbnails. It really is. And it's like even the biggest content creators on the planet struggle with it. And so for me, I would always look at how do we improve, but more importantly, how do we learn what works and what doesn't work? And once you find it, then it gives you a higher probability to succeed. But generally, I like to have curiosity. I like to I'm interested in this. Like what's going on here? That's the type of reaction that I'm looking for in every scenario.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I hope people are taking notes. I'm also going to be watching this back on the replay, as I always do when Derral comes on. Right. The next this super chat just came in actually from Magic Prepper, and then we're going to go up to the 10 going in the kitchen. But I just wanted to bring this one to your attention real quick, Derral, because this is like a already impacted situation here. So Magic Prepper says, last time Derral told me that I was just a gun channel, I leaned into it. I was just a guest speaker at a major firearms convention where my travel and lodging was provided for. Thanks, Derral. You were right. Boom.
There we go.
Yep. So the next one here is from Tangoin in the kitchen. Says, hold on real quick. There we go. It says, how do you stay organized, Derral? I try to make a schedule and plan, but when unexpected things happen, I lose the energy to follow through.
Okay, so one of the biggest things that I do is a time block. So if you look at my calendar, it's pretty intense, and a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, why would you do that to yourself? But I block time, and in that time, I have a very specific objective of the time that I'm trying to do. So one of the biggest time blocks that I did this year was usually you would start work really early in the morning, and I would just kind of get right into it and just go from it. But this year I've been working on my health, and so I time block 2 hours out. That it's my health. And you go to my calendar, and I don't care where I'm at in the world, those 2 hours is for my health. Now, it's not just to exercise, it's just to really go through the process of being more hyper aware of where my health's at and what I need to do. And so if you go look at pictures of me last year at this time, I'm down 72 pounds.
Nice.
And the thing about it has nothing to do with outside of prioritizing my time and blocking it in, and then being more attentive of what I'm doing in that hour. And so for me, it's more about time block. Well, it's more about planning to time block and being very specific of what I'm going to do in that time block. And then this is what I want to do. What was their name again? What was the
Tango in the kitchen?
Okay. What I want you to do is do micro wins. So like having a micro win in a half an hour or an hour actually brings me a lot of fulfillment, where I'm checking it off. I'm like, oh my gosh, look what I just got done. And not making it so big that it takes 10 time blocks to do, but you're able to do something and your mind is like, oh, this is what I'm going to get done. And when I'm going to get done, then I'm done. And there's something about that brings a lot of energy too. Is just like, oh my gosh, look what I got done. I'm really productive. And it's all about blocking it out and then prioritizing, and then being willing to really go a little bit more granularly on what you're trying to accomplish in that amount of time.
Time blocking for the win. Yeah, that's good. Very good. So next up, we have Lisa. Let's see here. Lisa of LisaLand They do daily content, but on YouTube for a year or more. They do family-friendly Disney park and cruise content. The goal of the channel is to teach others. And the question is, at a glance, when people visit my channel homepage or come across my thumbnail and title, is there anything visual that needs to change at a glance to increase click-through rate? Recently, I've been trying to improve and apply what I'm learning here, and they gave me some props on a video that I uploaded to Instagram. So on the channel, let me go ahead and just get you pulled up here really quick.
While you're pulling that up, can I ask Derral a question?
No, you can't. Yeah, of course.
Derral, how you doing? Good to see you, man. Congratulations on your weight loss.
Yeah, thank you.
I have a question for you regarding your scheduling, because I know you're an overachiever, and I can only imagine you have constant irons in the fire.
Yep.
Do you give yourself a hard stop at the end of the day?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay, so where I'm at right now. So when I had kids in the house, when I would have a stop, and then this phone literally went away, and I was dad. And that was really, really, really important for me, where I could pay attention to my kids and not my phone. And it would really piss off a lot of my partners, because they're like, dude, you can't get a hold of you. I'm like, yeah, I time block my time for my family, and it's not for you. Sorry. And so I'm very territorial of that for sure. And then there are days that you're going to do a lot. So like I was on a business trip, and it was like 1:30 in the morning that we finally got done. Right. And I had to get up at 4 in the morning. So there are days that you, overextend yourself a little bit. I always try to find time to reset. And block in time to reset. Because if you don't do it, you just grind yourself to pieces. So,
all right. Yep. Thank you.
So the channel here that we are giving feedback on. So basically, what she's trying to do right now is she's trying to figure out how to increase the amount that people are clicking on her videos. So the channel is LisaLand, and she goes to Disneyland, and she shares content from Disneyland. So we'll just isolate this particular one right here. And for this, just so you know, she has 33,000 views on this, uploaded this 4 days ago. Looks like the past couple of videos, 18,000 views, publishing a lot of content. But for increasing the response to, let's say, this video here, what would be your thoughts on this?
Okay, Lisa, I really do appreciate your consistency, but I have a huge problem with your thumbnails. It's just like I'm on information overload. I don't know where to focus at all, and I think you probably make it up with your personality into the content and your loyalty on that back end, and the loyalty to the Disney brand on the back end. But realistically, I'm overwhelmed, and so. I think the titles "Halloween Food is Officially Here," I think is a good is a good thing. I think you can get rid of Disneyland 2025, and it could be "Halloween Food is Officially Here at Disneyland," and then you could probably pull in your other things. But right now, I'm on information overload for your title, or I'm sorry, your thumbnail. So I'd probably try to simplify. Now you might say, well, no, this works in our market. And I'm just saying, do what I call the blink test. In my book, I talk about this very specifically. And I've probably done more about the science of thumbnails than most people that you'll come across. But close your eyes, open them up. Where does your eye go? And if it has a hard time focusing, then your thumbnail needs to be re-edited.
Boom.
Could you go back to your channel real quick?
Yeah, absolutely.
Real quick. And could you just do me one favor? Scroll down a little bit further. Okay, that's good. So it looks like this is my own assessment of looking at your channel. Looks like your channel has good browse traffic, and then your suggested is probably your number one traffic source. Like you're getting suggested out on other videos. And so what I would do is really look at the videos that are pulling higher than 31,000 views and see if you can see some commonality between that, but then going a little bit deeper on going a little bit deeper on the the themes, and then going to the traffic source. If it is suggested videos, like go click on it and see what is recommending your videos. It could be your other videos that are recommending those. But I would definitely go anything above 35,000 and just kind of hone and own that. And see if you can find the themes on it. Cause it looks like you get traffic, but then it just brings it in a little bit later. And those that do is probably coming from suggested. So.
Yeah. We also have that recent Halloween one also that's above 31 as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Good tips. So let's see here. So we'll take that one down. And just some information for people generally here, in the chat, because, we're all content creators here. So when it comes to retention, of course, everybody struggles with, the core thing that I found is everybody struggles with, thumbnails and titles, and they struggle with actually keeping people watching the video. So basically the whole content process. So when it comes to keeping people watching for longer periods of time, and I know it's different between, content types and things like that, but in terms of general best practices that you've found across, all of the different genres of content that you work with your students through Channel Jumpstart and through, your personal channels and all of that, like what are some really good takeaways for people just improving their audience retention overall?
Okay. So I'm going to give you an answer, and it's a little bit different than probably what you intended, but it's a really important thing. My first question to everyone that wants better attention is, do you watch YouTube? And this is the more important question. Not YouTube educators like Nick. I think you can get a lot of value here. But do you watch YouTube? And then who do you watch? And for me, it is like I'm always appalled of people like, I don't have time for YouTube. And I'm like, well, how are you going to perform on the platform when you don't even understand, who's doing it? The people that are obsessed, they know who's doing what, and it's not that they're getting hyper fixated on it, but they're learning. They're going through that process. So to be a good person of retention, you need to understand what good retention is. So I have a son that wants to do what I do, and believe it or not, from a young age, he got that gold play button over there, and there's another one on the ground. Could you do full screen on that one? This on the ground right here, that he helped with that content. Right there, right on the ground, right there. That one and that one over there. And he's been trying to get poached by the biggest YouTubers because he's really, really smart, and has just kind of grown up with it, right? And so he graduated high school, and he went on a mission trip to Brazil, and then came back. And he's like, Dad, I want to do what you do. I'm like, well, first off, I can't hire you. Sorry. Like, you can go work for one of the companies. Like, maybe Justin will hire you, who's my president of my agency. And so he talked to him, whatever. But he goes, what do I need to do? And I says, well, first off, I want you to watch every Ryan Trahan video since you've been gone. And it's been 2 years, and I want you to watch it. And then he watched all of it, and he's like, oh man, it's so good. It's so great. And he liked Ryan, and him and Ryan are friends. And I says, okay, what did you learn? And he goes, well, I just watched it. I'm like, now you got to go back and figure out the patterns, like the patterns of it. And then he did. And it was just like, and he understood that. And I was just like, okay, where's the triggers? Can you almost anticipate what he's going to do in the video yet? And he could. And so this is the thing about Ryan. And like, everybody's like, oh my gosh, he did 50 videos in 50 days and he only has a staff of 3. And it's true. But if you really look at the 50 videos in 50 days, it's only one video. It literally is only one video. It's the same video. If you go break it down, it's the same video. What we don't know is what happens, that story in between, but it's the same purpose, the same value prop. There's these unexpected things that are along the way, but it's just one video, right? And at the end of the day, that's what I look for. So if you're not watching YouTube, and you're not watching YouTube of someone that's a good storyteller or someone that has that ability to retain people, then you're never going to retain people. You're going to be not giving that the attention. You need to be a good steward of your content, and the best way to do that is to be a good student of others. And so it's like, why did they do this? Why did they do that? Oh, I saw what they did here. How can I apply that? That's what you need to have, number one. And you can't get that from a tutorial video. You got to go it as a viewer itself. Okay. Now the second thing on retention that I look for is, how do you set up the story? Like, how do you set it up? If you don't set up a story, there's no ability to keep me in. And you might think, well, I don't do stories. All I'm doing is showing them this. Then I'm like, then as soon as you show them, they're gone. And you're going to see a big drop, And so like for me, I want them to care about why they're watching the video. So what is usually the title? Why is the kind of the heart of the video itself? It's your A-B storyline, and the C storyline is pulling it in. So I try to do an ABC storyline, and I try not to deviate at all more than just 10 seconds, maybe 15 seconds outside of that B storyline. That B storyline has to be super strong. And the A storyline is just the purpose of the video. And so for me, I always look at that. And when it deviates from it, then we cut it. So like I'm working with a creator right now, a student of mine. He sent me a cut, and I'm like, dude, I didn't get into this until minute marker 45. Like 45 minutes into it, I didn't get into this content. And I go, you're going to need to cut a lot. You need it to really get it. And so you got it polished down to about 40 minutes, and it's a banger video. And the reason why was it pulled me in, it set up the story, I was engaged with it. And then the things that would take it off the rails, he just kind of minimized it or eliminated it. And that's why we edit. That's why we try to edit it in a way to engage. But I always look at, are we pulling away from the purpose of the video and why we're doing it? If we do, is it taking, like, you got to keep your guardrails on, and that's when I try to reinforce that.
Excellent. So Super Chat just came in. We'll hit this one really quick. Says, my latest video on a different channel had the best CTR, 8%, the retention and views in 24 hours. Also, it had the best click-through rate, retention, and 24-hour views, but it got no impressions after 4 hours and no click-through rate dips. Any ideas why, Derral?
Yeah, so you can have, like a 95% click-through rate. I've seen it. But it's all about impressions and views, right? So like the higher the view count, the more impressions that you're going to get. That's basically what and the higher that is, the lower your click-through rate is going to be. And so generally I like to go and ask, where did that traffic come from? So if it's a high click-through rate, but your traffic source is external and you hit Google, for example, and you just got a ton of views, but the retention wasn't very good, then maybe that's only for a couple hours. Or it could be, YouTube put it on browse and put it out there, and then it just died after 4 hours. Well, then there's something going on, because what YouTube does is, as soon as it finds an audience, it's going to test it and then recalibrate and then test it again, and then recalibrate and test it again, and recalibrate and test it again. If it did it out of the gate, it would be, it found an audience, clicked on it, did not get the response, so it just killed it. And maybe that will come up, but it depends on the traffic source. If it was suggestion or suggested, there's another way to look at it. But I would need to know the traffic source to give you an exact answer on that.
There we go. And the next question that we have here is from Heck of Steel, or Hess of Steel. They do daily content, but on YouTube for less than 6 months. What do you think of somebody just getting started and publishing daily content? Do you think that's a good move, or do you or do you think that's a bad?
That's the fastest way to burn yourself out. By the time that you're getting good at making videos, you're probably sick of making videos. Like, I would rather, well, it depends on if it's shorts or whatever. It could be okay, but rarely would I recommend that ever. I would say, let's find a good cadence and maybe do an extra video or two when you're in the beginning, just so that we can get in that pattern, but don't make it consistent. I just say whatever you can be consistent at, whether it's 3 times a week, once a month, once a week, whatever that is. So.
Yeah, that consistency thing is super important in terms of, making sure that you're giving yourself the space to do what you need to do without having the pressure attached.
My whole thing is, how are you supposed to improve if you're always putting a video out? It's like, my biggest thing is the pre-production. Like, the more the time you put in pre-production, the higher quality you have in your production. And you're going to minimize your time in post-production. Like, that's what we're trying to do, is like anticipate all that other stuff. And so, like, if you're putting out a daily deadline, how are you ever going to put the time, energy, and effort into a pre-production process?
Yeah. And with that also, if you put that time in, then that one video that you publish over the course of the week could end up outperforming the 7 videos that you published over the course of that week in total, just because you put more time and intention, not necessarily time, but you put more intention and effort into, the video.
Don't get me wrong. I do believe you need to put your reps in of making content. You have to put your reps in. The more that you make content, it should help you speed up the process of creating content, but also make you a better content creator. Like, I think every content creator cringes at their first video, they ever made, because they've improved. But that being said, I want to do it without exerting too much energy into the wrong things, which is, I got to put out more content. That's the only way I'm going to be found. No. If you make better content, you put time, energy, and effort to bring value. That's when it happens. Not the other way around.
So the question here from the Heck of Steel, they do weight loss, gym, and daily vlog content. This is the one that does the daily. Their goal is to be a full-time content creator, and they do daily vlogs of their weight loss journey, including struggles and wins. And basically, they just want tips on how to grow their viewership and and get subscribers on their YouTube channel. So when it comes to that, let's say that, like in their case, like what kind of information can you share in terms of just best practices for content creators that are in a situation like this, where they're getting started and they're just trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I get my first views on my content? And like, the subscribers will come later. If you make good content and you focus on that, then the subscribers will come later. But in terms of getting those initial views for people that don't have experience with making videos or doing all the stuff that's involved with being a content creator.
There's no viewer that's going to watch every video of yours every day. Maybe your mom. But outside of that,
my mom wouldn't. I don't know. If you're talking about my mom. She would not.
She watches mine.
Yeah, of course she does. Of course she watches yours. He's the favorite.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I saw that one coming. But I would say, you got to look at exhausting the viewer, and then too, if they know that you're putting out daily content, it's like, I don't have time for this one, but they'll click on your latest, and so they're choosing what videos to watch instead of wanting to consume all your videos. Now, if it's a weight loss journey, there's something really cool that you could tell a 7-day journey of your weight loss during a week, the ups and downs and the sideways. You can record every day, but maybe you put your content out once a week, where there is something. And so the journey is like, oh man, I am on the quest to try to get this weight. That's like 5 pounds. Can I do it in 7 days? Now I'm curious, could you actually do that? What are you going to do that? What is your day going to look like? Are you going to fail on certain things? Are you going to, whatever. Now I'm on your journey with you. And then the payoff would be getting on that scale and seeing, did you get it or not? And if that's the case, then celebration, cut the video, okay, great. Then the next week, what is that whole thing? And so for me, I'd rather see stuff like that than to see, here's where, okay, guys, I'm going to get through the day. That's great. I wouldn't necessarily do that. And if you're using it for motivation, for you to keep on going, that's a different scenario, because if that's what you need to be on your journey, that's great. But I'm just saying, keep it from the viewer's perspective. Like, I'd rather see one video that I'm going to just jump in. How did you do this week? What's going on here? I'm very curious, than to say, oh, okay, she's just spamming me with content, and I'll watch it occasionally. So.
Excellent. And our next question here is from It's All His. It's All His uploads 1 time per week or more, been on YouTube for less than a year. They do faith-focused money management content.
There's one of my students here. I want to let you know it all depends on the niche, right? So there are
for what is the question on there?
The same one, like daily content.
Oh, okay.
Like if you're a streamer, gamer that has that audience, or if you're a trader that's trading stuff, absolutely you might go daily because your life cycle of the video might be only 48 hours, right? And so for me, I always base my advice on the type of content that you're trying to create, not necessarily in general. This is where it's at, but I can guarantee you when you really well, let me give you a perfect example. So one of a great case study that I have was a gamer that was posting 7 videos a day, and I'm like, no. And so we switched it to 2 a day, 1 in the morning and 1 in the evening. Now, the difference was he had a global audience, and he went from 100 million video views a month to 200. And it was like pulling it down, posting less, but going from there. Now, if he was a streamer, okay, there's streaming content, you can do that daily. And I would encourage you to do it daily. It just depends on if your viewer would engage. I just know weight loss and gym type of content, they're not going to engage like they would someone that's watching Fortnite. It's just not the same thing.
Shout out to Fortnite, by the way. Hey, really quick, also, just in case you're just joining the stream, I do want to remind you that because we've been, mentioning this throughout the stream today, that Vid Summit is coming up. It is a conference for content creators. I'm sharing the wrong screen here. I just meant to share that screen, but I shared the wrong one here. Let me get it going here. But Derral is the founder of Vid Summit, but it is a conference for content creators. It's happening October 7th through the 9th in Dallas, Texas. If you are a content creator who is taking this seriously and you're wanting to turn this into something, you're wanting to, use content to add value to other people while also getting the benefits of earning income from it, either a side income or a full-time income, then in that particular case, you need to be at Vid Summit. So again, it's in Dallas, Texas on October 7th through the 9th. And all kinds of different content creators go there from all different niches, and they share what it is that they know about YouTube. People there of all different sizes, from the biggest channel on YouTube all the way down to people that are just starting channels go to Vid Summit to learn how to actually, do it the right way and get the most out of the efforts that they are putting into YouTube. People like Linus Tech Tips is there. Roberto Blake, that I know a lot of you here are already familiar with. Cody Sanchez, which I'm super looking forward to, hearing, her keynote, but all kinds of, people that are successful in this already are helping you learn how to get the most out of everything it is that you're doing on YouTube. So head over to vidsummit.com, grab a ticket if you haven't yet. And I also want to let you know, because I haven't mentioned this during the stream, but also when it comes to Vid Summit, if you do, get the ticket to Vid Summit, you also get the replays, I believe, Derral?
That's right.
Yeah, so you get the replays. So in addition to being at the conference, being able to interact with all the other content creators there that are serious, which that by itself, I can't put into words for those of you that are solo content creators that are kind of in your own bubble and you don't have other people that are also doing this. Vid Summit is a great place to meet other people that are serious about it like you. And you can create a lot of, friends there as well, and people that, you talk to that are also doing the thing and taking it seriously like you are. Because a lot of people in your life are probably looking at it right now and they're like, I don't know. It's for some other people, and those are some things that are happening on the internet. But when you go to Vid Summit, you get to see the reality of it. You get to see that, wow, all of these people are having success with this. All these people are paying their bills with this. Some of these people are thriving and, massively when it comes to, using YouTube and online video, as a business. So head over to vidsummit.com, check it out. And I'm going to put a link to, or not a link, but a little graphic up here on the screen. So you know exactly where to go to get tickets for that. But you get the replay. So the whole reason I went down that rabbit hole was because, at the conference, you are going to have different talks to go to, and you're going to make, the choice on, I'm going to go to this one instead of this one. But you're still going to be able to get all of the information from everybody because you do get those replays as well.
And I'll tell you,
can't make it.
The replays are gold too, because it's like I literally watch every single presentation at VidSummit, even though they can't go in and sit down in every single presentation. And for me to walk away, I got notebooks full of content of really actionable things that I can apply to what I'm doing from those presentations. And then two, my students every week they're reviewing a presentation at VidSummit because they're like literally the best. And so if you can't make it, our virtual passes will become available in a month. You'll definitely want to grab that just because the reality is the best scenario is being surrounded. There's something about just being surrounded by people that just brings
it's potential excitement. It's potential. You get to see the potential. You're like, wow, this is happening here.
My favorite thing to this day when it comes to VidSummit was we were doing this very specific live stream, Nick, and there was a girl from Florida that says, I'm going to go to VidSummit and I'm going to fly myself all the way to LA. And her mom says, no, you're not. And she spent all her money in her savings account to buy a ticket for herself and for her mom to fly all the way to LA, because we were in LA at the time, to go to VidSummit, right? Because she was all in it. She had about 100 subscribers at the time. And ultimately, she did. She was there, and there was a ton of opportunity for her. She was like having conversations. She had networking. She found some people that can help her with some edit and some thumbnails. It's like really developing. And here she is, like 17 years old. Is coming into this world, right? And anyway, she was in the audience, and I called 6 people out of the audience, and they got on stage, and I told them I was going to mentor them for free. They didn't have to pay for anything, just by coming to VidSummit. She was one of the 6. And I says, one out of 6 of people that I mentor, they just pop off. They just do. They just explode. And I says, I feel comfortable enough to say one of these people on stage will be the keynote next year. Because that's the probability that we have with Channel Jumpstart. Well, she went in, and by the time that she got on stage the next year at VidSummit, she had well over 2 million subscribers. And that's Jenny Hoyos, by the way. And what was awesome is her mom, who kind of made sure that she was okay or whatever, she now has like 1.8 million subscribers on her.
Nice.
It's like, it's changed the world here. And then they're helping other creators, and they're doing all that other stuff. She's still a student of mine. She's even helping some of my students. But it's just like, that's the coolest thing ever when someone just goes all in and says, I see value there. I want to learn. Not, it's too expensive. And trust me, I understand situations, and I know it's not maybe for everyone. Put a goal for next year. If you can't make it this year, get access to the replays. It is going to be game changing.
Yeah, so go to vidsummit.com. You can see that right there on the bottom of the screen right here. If you look at the screen, you can see get tickets at vidsummit.com. So go over there and grab your tickets if you have not already. Yeah, I'm super looking forward to it this year. I look forward to it every year. Like, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. So really quick, Roberto dropped a member message in here. Says, what can Nick do to push to 1 million subscribers in the next 12 months? And he also needs both of us on a live stream soon.
There we go.
So hit me up at any time. I'm available. Yeah, so Derral, so get me to 1 million subscribers in the next 12 months. What do you say?
I need to look at your analytics and see exactly where we're at.
Yeah.
So if you give me access to that, I'll put you a plan.
Okay. So next up on the list here, we've got.
And I just want to go on the record, Derral, in case you don't know.
Publishing more and being consistent is probably a huge.
No, I just want Derral to understand the situation here. Nick lost my 100,000.
You told him this last year.
No, hold on. He doesn't know this. The play button.
He knows.
He lost.
He knows. I told him, or we told him last year when he was on.
No, but I'm telling him right now. When he gets his million play button.
Oh, you're hiding it?
Guess who is going to take it?
Yeah.
Guess who's going to have 1 million play button in his house?
Oh, that's great.
And who's not going to keep it? Guess who?
Okay, well,
I'm not
get
kidding.
it. But when you get it, you can order more than one, right? Like you can like for your team. So you're
and I'm taking that one too.
Yeah.
Okay. He is not going to keep that million play button. He is going to be punished.
My whole thing though, it's like very depressing in the sense that they made it so small now. I'm like, man, it's like so teeny tiny. And I'm like, it should only go, the teeny tiny only should go to shorts creators. That's the way I look at it. In short videos, short play button. That's the way I look at it.
100%.
You can order as many as you want. I'm taking them all.
Yep.
The back of my room is going to look like the back of Derral's right now, and it's going to be all of your ordered million play buttons.
They don't let you do that though. They're very mindful of it. It's like, oh no, he can only order what your team is. But
So on this channel here that has the for It's All His, they have the faith focused money management content. And the question that they asked is, should they be asking for subscribers in every videos? And if so, when should they do it? Just once or more? They've heard so many different perspectives.
Yeah. So what was the channel name?
The channel is called It's All His.
It's All His. Okay. So let me tell you this. I could give like 2 cents to subscribers. I really don't care about subscribers. Like I literally don't care. I don't. Now you might think, oh wait, why don't you care? A subscriber isn't a guarantee view. It's just a vanity metric that is put in place. Now you might say, oh, look at all your gold play buttons. You do care about subscribers. No. What I care about is that someone comes and finds a video and they want to go deeper with me. And not only go deeper, but they want to consume a lot of my content. They want to become an active viewer. Like the active viewer is by far the biggest compliment to you as a content creator because they come back for more, not for one, they come back for more. And so one of the coolest things ever now, if you go into your audience tab, YouTube's is telling you, are they a casual viewer? Are they an active viewer? They're giving you very, very good data. And you can start seeing which videos are responding to which type of people from there. But that's all I care about because YouTube doesn't care about subscribers anyway. They did way back when, like 2008, 2009. But ever since they went to a view-based algorithm where they're more into the viewer, they don't really care. They care about who's watching what, how long they watch, what they do next, what they don't do next. That's what they're actually watching. And so I would just reframe to that is getting people on the journey, getting people part of your community. And then too, as a Christian, I think you're doing good. Trying to help people understand and manage wealth. That's a really good thing. Go check out Myron Golden. He's one of my students. It clicked for him that it wasn't a transaction he was trying to do, but more of a relationship. And then his content exploded from there. And there's even a video there that's saying, of like once he got around to his mindset of who the viewer is and who he's engaging with, it was just easier to grow on YouTube.
There you go. So next up on our list here, we've got Raven Pinkman, and they do daily content. Man, another daily content grind here. But they do gaming, mostly BioShock 2 multiplayer. Okay. And you can
do that daily because BioShock's fun. But it's like like at the end of the day. Go ahead, keep on going.
Oh, but they just say, is it normal for views to be up and down occasionally?
Yes. So it all depends on the trend and all times and seasons. So like for me, when school starts, there's some channels that start to tank because they were watching content when they had a little bit more freedom when school was in. So you got to look at who your audience is and then the times of seasons for that. And so for me, it even could be down through the time of the day of when you're releasing, but also the time of the week that you're actually releasing too. You're going to have ebbs and flows throughout it. It's never going to be consistent. It just won't. And then two, keep in mind, one of the metrics I need you to do is go into analytics. You go into the advanced mode. So in the upper right-hand corner, when you get into analytics, you click on that. And then there is a way that you can add more tabs to the display down there. Just type in average view per viewer and click on that and just see how many people are watching on average, how many video viewers in the last 28 days. And that will give you a better perspective of how many people are actually engaging with your content regularly. You can also go into the audience tab and then see the people that are returning and engaging. These are the most hardcore. You can see who's your casual viewer. I would look at those two factors, because you might want to change your strategy where you might do daily content a certain way, but once a week you do this most amazing engaging type of content that would engage more. And if we get more people clicking on that, you're going to grow very, very fast.
Love it. Dropping fire, as always. So the next channel here is Field Guide to DIY. They upload one time per week or more. They do home improvement, DIY, and woodworking content. The goal of the channel is to teach others. And the question is, a friend of mine religiously removes videos that he disliked from his watch history. To your knowledge, does removing videos from your watch history affect the algorithm as if you had never watched the videos at all? Yeah. So while talking about this, let's talk about it from that side, and then let's talk about just deleting videos off of YouTube in general.
Yeah, so YouTube is going off of the data to predict what you want to watch based on your watch history. So if you want a blank slate, delete your watch history. It's going to be a different viewing experience than if you kept everything in. Deleting certain videos that maybe he didn't want to watch or go down the rabbit hole is a very smart thing to do as a viewer, because if you want to change your viewing experience, you just change what data YouTube has. And so that is the number one factor that it does. Now, that being said, you watch one video, YouTube already defines the type of video content that you want, and it gets better and more refined as you start to consume content. So for sure, that's great. Now, the other question would be, should you prune your content off your videos, off of your channel? And I would say you could. It can disrupt. I know Todd, who runs the algorithm team at YouTube, says, you don't need to. Like, YouTube's going to just find the audience that you're doing. But it's all up to you. I would just say, for me, data is really important, and data can help you understand the decisions that you need to make as a content creator. And if you take that out, you're going to miss an important part of your data. Now, there are channels that look to pivot and they're like, I got to just get rid of it. When you do, just keep in mind there might be a lull time that you're not going to get as much recommended from YouTube, because you took out a huge traffic source of viewership that was coming into your channel that was kind of adding that up.
Matt, what's going on, man? Nice to see you in here. Hope you're doing awesome. So next up, we've got TBI Journey. They've been on YouTube for 1 year or more. They do education and mental health content. And the question is, I've started a new section on my channel called Freebie Friday. What are safe ways to upload documents so my viewers can access them? I don't want personal info getting out. For that, I would just use like Google Docs. Just set up a completely different Google account for it, and then use Google Docs for that, and then just put anything that you need into Google Docs, and then you can share that publicly, but just make sure that you share it as a viewer so that they can't actually go in there and edit it, because if you do it as an editor, somebody can go in there and mess around with it. So just share it as a Google Doc, or just embed it into a Google Doc, and then you don't have to worry about any of your personal information.
I like email addresses, because you never know when you're going to use the email address. So I'd actually want you to find a way that you can grab an email to associate with that in exchange for. That's really powerful, because you never know what you're going to do. And there's so many different people that make a ton of money where they're only getting maybe 1,000 views per video, that are making millions and millions of dollars based off that email and the value prop that they could go outside of that.
Extra bonus, like big tip right there.
I gotta give a shout out real quick. So we have Matt. We have Matt with Matt's Off-Road Recovery on. And
when I just did the "Hey Matt, what's going on?" That's who I was talking about.
Okay, great. Yeah, Matt was religiously watching you. Like, he just literally watched your content. Little did I know that we'd become partners, down the road. But what's crazy is he was so obsessed with getting it right. And this is what I can tell everybody on here. If there's ever a great content creator that understands content, you actually need to understand how your viewer is taking your your video content. And he's by far one of the best storytellers that I've ever worked with, ever. And he's very sensitive to it. And he kind of gets frustrated at times when it's not the right scenario, because in his head, he's like already editing the video when he's creating it. It's like one of the coolest things to watch. And so big shout out to Matt, and then big shout out to you, Nick, because like there's so many people that their lives have changed because of what you're doing here. They've literally changed because you're putting the time, energy, and effort answering the questions that no one was answering, or it was kind of like left behind. And so like for me, even though that people will come and go from your channel, and you've really, really impacted the world in a very positive way, where people have literally employed a lot of people because of the advice that you're giving, for them when they're just solo trying to go full time.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. And, that stems, from you also, and you reaching out a hand to me, when I was first getting started as well. So,
Yep.
So I appreciate you for that as well. I'm part of India's as well. We're part of the Eves effect, right? So yeah, so appreciate that as well, coming from that side too. Like it's cool seeing like people come in. And I mean, this already, but it's cool seeing people come in, and then you see people showing up in the chat and showing up in the comments and all of that stuff. And then like scene fades to them trying to figure it out, to like, oh, okay, well now I'm going to Vid Summit, or now I'm, a part of Derral's program. It seems like to be this natural progression that kind of happens in terms of, people kind of going in that direction. So it's it's awesome to watch all of that stuff, happen.
The coolest thing I love about the creator economy is whatever you're passionate about, you can grow an audience with, like you can, and it can be as diverse as whatever you're into, right? But the principles of developing an audience and bringing value to that audience consistently is a tough thing to do. And once you start to understand the mechanics from it, and I'll use Matt as the example. I mean, he puts on an event every year, and it's one of the biggest events in Utah, where he brings YouTubers in. They're doing their recoveries and Jeeps and all that other stuff. It's just one of the most amazing things. It's called Matt's Off-Road Games. You can go check it out. But it's very interesting. Like once you understand the community and you take time with the community, and he made a comment to me that I really do appreciate. So he went to Cletus McFarland's event, and he was just kind of like a YouTuber at his event. But he goes, there's content creators that will come and sit down and meet their fans, for like 10 minutes, and they just leave because it's not fun. It's not fun for them. So they just kind of ditch out, or they'd rather be doing something else. And he says, I love my fans. Like they came all this way to see me. Why wouldn't I take time to have a conversation with them? That is the difference. And I'm telling you, like once you understand audience development and you're passionate about your audience, and you want to give them value, even if it's like that one-on-one time that they put their life on hold, came all this way to this event just to meet you, that's the biggest thing you could possibly do. And so kudos to Matt for willing to do that, and shame on the other creators that just are in for the fame and they don't take time with the people that actually are making time, in their lives, watching their content. It's all about community,
Yeah, and taking that, that most important thing that they have, which is time, and spending that in what it is that you're doing, and making everything possible in terms of, what it is that you get to do because of that. Yeah, it's wild. So let's do another question here, and this question is from Playing the Mom Game. And she says she's been on YouTube for a year or more. She does fashion review content. Her goal is to make money. And she says, on my channel, I do mostly clothing reviews and influencer type videos where I'm sharing my favorite things, even though I do not necessarily think of myself as an influencer type person. The problem is, for my videos, I'm either buying a lot of items to do a big review haul, which has a cost, or I'm promoting products I love, but I feel like I'm going to run out of things that I love, and I don't want to promote just anything. My favorite part of making videos is editing and adding humor into the videos, and my audience responds really well to that. I feel like the fashion part is just kind of a niche that I picked that I think is fun, but I'm not an expert in. Do you think that this content plan / strategy seems sustainable? I feel like I'm kind of blending two types of content, and I'm not sure if they will continue to overlap long term. Thanks.
Yeah. So I would just say that's a really great question. And you don't need to be an expert on YouTube. You don't need to be an expert into it. You just have to have passion around something, right? That passion breeds passionate people to come together. And that's where community is. If you're having a great response that you're bringing your humor into it, people like your personality. People like the way that you process things. But it should be all around, that aspect of the community. Now, where you're targeting mothers, mothers have challenges. Mothers have problems. Mothers have things that they're looking at. And I can tell you right now, because I have the most amazing wife in the history of all mankind. When she became a mom, her body changed, and she was worried about her appearance. And she's always looking at outfits that would help her look younger or cuter or whatever. She's just cute and young in my eyes every time. But at the end of the day, that's kind of what she's processing. So for me, when you're really breaking it in, that people understand that you're targeting a specific group, then it's just like, well, how do you bring them value? Well, look at what they're concerned with or what they're looking at. These types of content, it works really well. The listicles and the hauls work really well. But don't think that you need to actually buy every item. Some people like to window shop. And that window shopping can be an experience where, hey, let's go do this together and see what we're going to kind of grab instead of going and buying everything. And don't get me wrong, there's that reaction to unboxing and trying on certain outfits, but don't think that you always need to have it in person. You don't need that. It's more of that experience. Because there is that shop with me, and then that's that window shopping, and maybe you're only buying one item instead of buying 20 items that you're doing. There's several ways to do that.
Okay, that's good. So the next question that we have here is from.
Could we do something?
Absolutely.
Playing the mom game.
Let me go back to it. Give me one second here.
No. Let's give her a ticket to Vid Summit.
That's awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, I want to say something publicly that I haven't really said publicly, but I have been on a quest for the last 3 years to try to get more female content creators on YouTube. Like I've been obsessed with it, and if you go look at some of my students, there's some of the biggest female content creators on the planet right now. And it's me taking an active effort of seeing, there's just hasn't been a lot of female content creators in the space. I mean, there's like a handful and they're always used for everything. Well, we need to change that. And so we've been very, very active. That was the reason why I selected 6 females to come on stage for me to mentor them. That's when it started. But here's where it ends. Is you go look, we have some powerhouses coming to Vid Summit to present, and they're female. And it's not saying that females are better than males or males are better than females. It's just I want to empower more people, because I can guarantee you, Nick said this, he's really excited for Cody Sanchez. Well, I am too. Like I watch her content. I'm like, man, that's good content. And then I hear her business advice and I'm like, man, that's really good business advice. What would it take to get Cody Sanchez to come? And for me, that's what I was looking at, is I'm finding value in that too. And so for me, it's there. So playing the mom game, I want you there at Vid Summit. If you already have a ticket, I'll give you an extra ticket. You can bring someone. That's where if you don't have a ticket, you now have a ticket. But I want to facilitate that for you, because we're going to see an explosion now more than ever before, and we're going to be leading the charge, because there's such an audience. And trust me, this is one of my favorite examples of money being made. If you have a male demographic watching your content versus a female demographic watching your content, you can make a ton more money if it's a female demographic. One of my favorite people of all time is Chad Wildclay, and his wife is V. And they would actually create this content. In fact, we were coming up with a strategy with Mr. Beast way back when of he wanted to develop kind of his own IP where he would have multiple channels and multiple characters come in, and it's in this big universe. And anyway, the banger videos that he'd make, even though that he'd get more views on his channel, he'd always put it on V's channel because V's channel would make more money. It was like 3x more money. So he's like, we make more money if it's the banger video over here. And so for me, females can make a ton more money if you have a good female viewership. And then two, that's the whole thing is I definitely want to see more content creators. And I think we have, seen a lot of content creators surface up in the last few years, and we're going to see more that are female as well. So
love it. That's awesome. Congratulations on your Vid Summit ticket. That's awesome. Looking forward to seeing you there, getting to meet you in person finally. That's great. So the next question that we have here is from the Late Apex Garage. They are getting ready to start their channel. And they say, how far do we take controversy? I'm making a video about a Cannonball Outlaw race, but I'm unsure how strongly to state my opinion. So what do you think of, drawing lines in the sand on your YouTube channel, Derral? And just freely expressing your opinion about things.
Yeah, I like to say it how it is. There's an audience for that. When you actually just say, hey, I look to this person as a thought leader or whatever, I think it's great. I think there's a lot of opportunity there to be opinionated. Now, keep in mind, once you have an opinion, there's always the opposite polarized opinion. So you have trolls come out. It just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. But for me, I just want you to be authentically you. And if it's something that you're passionate about, then talk about it. Right. If it's something that you're like, oh, this will get me views, but I'm not passionate about it, maybe not talk about it. My whole thing is like, I only want you to be authentically you. So
there we go. Next up, we've got Tatted Explorer. They upload every other day. Thai street food. Oh, they're here in Thailand. The goal of the channel is to make money. And they say, hey, you guys might remember me from a couple months ago. Following your advice, I've gone from 0 to almost 200,000 subscribers. So thanks for that again. Nice work. High five to you for that. Says, my question is, I feel like my content is getting a bit stale, even though it's still getting good views. My channel is all about street food, but I'd like to pivot into maybe some travel content. What would you say is the best way to do this? I don't really fancy starting from scratch on a new channel. Thanks in advance. And side question, if you have time, a couple days ago, new law in Thailand came about recording people in public. Yeah, I'm not sure about that law, so we'll just go back to the first question. But yeah, basically pivoting the street food channel into sprinkling in some travel content. What are your thoughts, Derral?
I don't think it's it'll take a long time to develop the audience to go do traveling content unless you're doing street food 80% of the time and 20% of the time doing some travel in between. But you got to look at the value prop, and I can guarantee you, trust me. And I was actually going to launch a channel on street food, like exotic street food. And then COVID hit, and like I had it all lined up. I did like 6 months worth of content creation. I had a team in China that was going to grab the footage for me. There was a very specific way. So, it was hundreds of millions of video views that we could get per video release. And I can tell you, it's not the same type of value prop. Travel and street food is not the same type of value prop. Now, if you're a big personality, and you're like 80% of the content of trying the street food, then it might work. But if you're like 30% or even 40% of the content, I don't know if it'll work. So
yeah, here's the channel in terms of what they're putting out. I'm not sure if
that's why I did that, but yeah. I'd have to watch a video to know it, but yeah. But there might be a possibility. But keep in mind, whenever I do a pivot like that, don't go all in where you're just doing one direction. Like slowly go into it. It's what I call an experimental bucket, so I can experiment with it. But food should be a part of your videos, regardless if it's travel. Then that way, it's kind of on brand.
Hey, and really quick, Daniel Batal, what's up, dude? Nice to see you in the chat here. Hope you're doing awesome.
Hey, Daniel.
So next up we have at Tenzia Records. They upload every other day. Also, they do music content. Man, everybody's on the grind, aren't they?
Yeah,
like daily,
daily content every other day.
But the question is, I run a record label channel at Tenzia Records with a weekly Friday live stream, lyric videos and pre-listings of new songs, many of our own live recordings from bands, a 24/7 live radio stream, and several curated playlists. Do you see any specific improvements that we could make for a record label channel? Anything that we could change in terms of structure, playlist, or presentation? So when it comes to music channels, Derral, sorry about that, because I just said Daniel Batal.
Yeah.
Derral, what are your thoughts on music channels and people, kind of making these different offerings on their music channels?
Yeah. So first off, are you a music channel or you're not? And when I mean a music channel, is people going to go on and everything that you post is just music alone, not commentary on music or a reaction to music? Because the moment that you do outside of music, you're not a music channel from my point of view. And so, believe it or not, YouTube, there's a whole different ecosystem for music, and you got to treat it for what it is. So you want to separate if it's lyrics and music, that should be on just 100% playing music, because if not, you're interrupting what they came in for, which is listening to music. And even if it's a music video, most people listen to it anyway. Then it integrates into another app called Music or YouTube Music, which is in cars and on phones and all that other stuff. And a lot of people consume it that way. And so I don't like to corrupt that viewing or listening experience in any way. Now, keep in mind, like the numbers that YouTube does with music, it dwarfs Spotify. Like it's crazy what they're doing there. So for me, I would just say music's over here, and then my label's over here, and we can talk about the industry. We can talk about the things. We can have artists on or so on and so forth. Okay, that's great. And you can do that on a live stream. You can even react to the music, but just keep in mind, it's more of reacting to content, not the music itself. So yeah, I'd like to keep that completely separated and very honed. And you'll see me always with my students. It's like, if you deviate from your value prop, you need to go create a new channel. That's what I always say. So
excellent advice. And as somebody that listens to a lot of music on YouTube, the last thing that I want and the last thing I'm going to respond to is if I'm sitting there and I'm like, jamming out to your music while I'm working or whatever. And then, like I'm in a playlist, and then like the next thing that pops up is you like doing an interview or something, like I'm out of there. Probably won't click on that or, participate anymore because I'm there to like listen to the music, put it on in the background, and, just kind of sit there and do the thing.
Yeah.
So Derral,
if you ever want someone to give you an opinion about music, ask Daniel Patel.
He'll give you all kinds of opinions.
He'll give you real world advice.
Yeah.
But no, he's great on that too.
So Derral, as we close this out here, because we're rolling up on the time here. So for people that are in the chat that
we got to give some tickets away. Like, I mean, don't we want to give some VidSummit ticket away?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay,
let's do it.
Chantel, could you just make sure that you keep track of everyone? Because I just gave some tickets away to just make sure you keep track of that. That'd be great. Chantel helps us out at VidSummit because she's super awesome on that. And then we can kind of go from there. But let's do it. Like, how do we want to do this, Nick?
So there's a couple things that we can do. The very first thing is we can pull them randomly. So I have this tool here to where basically somebody can put these words in here, and then we can pick them out randomly. I
like that. Let's do a couple that way. Or okay. What's the alternative?
Well, I was gonna say, or they can just be randomly picked out somewhere, or we can throw out some trivia. Maybe
this is fun, right?
Okay. So the word that you need to put in the chat, how this is going to work really quick, is you put this word into the chat, whatever word it is that I'm showing on the screen.
Really quickly, you might want to make sure to let them know that they can actually go to VidSummit if they're trying to win a ticket.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, even if they don't, they can get a virtual ticket. So they can like, this is not transferable. Like if you get it, you got to come. If you don't, then we'll just get you a virtual ticket. You just can't give it to anybody.
There you go.
Yeah, so either a virtual ticket or an in-person ticket. And keep in mind, if you get an in-person ticket, like you still have to, like get there. You still got to get your hotel, but this gets you into the event itself. So all you have to do is put the word VidSummit into the chat, and then this is going to collect the entries as it's currently doing. And you only need to put it in there once. And then here in just a second, I'm going to hit this pick a winner button, and then it's going to randomly select somebody. And then after this one, I think we're probably going to put another word in here. And then we will go from there. So we'll just go ahead and spin this puppy.
This is so
Where's
cool.
my drum roll?
Drrrr.
I got it.
You got it?
Hey, there we go.
Woo! So we have Arzrion encrypted. So Chantel, if you just want to screenshot that really quick. So Arzrion encrypted.
I hope that's a security channel.
So when it so what you'll need to do for this is you can reach out to Chantel, or you can just reach out to me, just DM me on Twitter or on X, and then I can connect you with Chantel that way, or just get the information and just pass it, straight over to her. So anybody that wins while we're doing this, then either DM Chantel on X or DM me on X, and then we'll make sure that you get taken care of there. All right, next word.
Wait, does it just automatically just pick a different name? Do you do that? Does it automatically do that, or you typed it in?
So I have, because I built this. So basically, I have Niminati is just kind of the default that I do when I'm doing like channel reviews and stuff like that, just for people that are already in the know, so that they can just go ahead and put it in there and they know that that it's happening. So it just defaults to that. But we can definitely put another word in here.
No, that's great. I'm just wondering why the entries are not kicking on. But you have to hit start.
Because I got hold on. There we go.
There we go.
Yep. Yeah, super fun. So looking forward to seeing you, Derral, at Midsummer, man. It's going to be a good time.
This time we actually need to meet up. It's like, I think
we had like a few minutes outside of a restaurant last year.
Like, hey, Nick, quick hug, and then we were gone. So,
but I know you're like super busy when you go running around and doing the thing.
It's a fun time. I get probably 3 hours of sleep for the whole week, but it's a fun time for me. But I can honestly say I go until I lose my voice. I really do. I want to just answer questions, meet people, help them whatever I can. That's what I try to do.
Yeah, I think that's the whole thing, right? Because you have the that short period of time where you can just add that instant value like right there on the spot. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this. So we are spinning.
Spinning to winning.
Mm-hmm. The Known Wolf is our winner here. So I'll hold that one there in case Chantel needs to screenshot it to verify.
Okay, and then let's give Homekeeping Channel a ticket too. Homekeeping Channel, because most of these winners are males. I want to give some females some tickets too.
Okay, so Homekeeping Channel, you just won a Vid Summit ticket. So congratulations to you for that, just for hanging out. Love that.
This is great. This is great. And then let's do one for one of your members, like someone that's been contributing to this channel for a while. How do we do that?
Let's see here. Yeah, I'm not sure how to do that one.
Green, I guess they're in green. So if you're a member of this channel that you can comment in green, I guess I see green on my side. Go ahead and say Nick is cool. Put Nick is cool in there, and I just want to see that real quick.
Okay.
And we'll get someone. I think that would be great.
Awesome.
We'll see though.
Yeah, making them lie, right? Making them lie in order to get a ticket.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. So first one that did it. Let's see. The Artist Haven. I think
Tish. Yep, she's Vid Summit alumni. She was there. She was there last year, I believe. I think maybe the year before.
I hope she has a ticket. If not, she has a ticket now.
Boom.
There we go.
Love it. Love it. Love it.
Beanie.
So just as a quick reminder, just in case you just joined the stream and you don't know what's going on right now. So we are in the process of giving out. Daryl's in the process of giving out Vid Summit tickets, and what Vid Summit is, in case you don't win a ticket, is Vid Summit is a conference for content creators. So if you're somebody that is taking YouTube seriously and taking content seriously, and you have either turned your channel into something, you're in the process of turning your channel into something, or you aspire to turn your channel into something serious for yourself and take advantage of this YouTube opportunity that we have, Vid Summit is the place that you want to go to. So you can learn more about Vid Summit at vidsummit.com. So make sure that you check that out. If you don't win a ticket, make sure you check it out. And if you do win a ticket, make sure you check it out too, because he's got an awesome speaker lineup this year, just like he always does, of great people to learn from. So make sure you check out the website regardless.
Well, should we give away 2 more tickets?
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
The number's on you. It's your call.
Yeah,
Mr. Eves.
Yep, let's do it. Let's do the random one though. That'd be great.
Okay. So let's do Vid Summit 2025.
There we go. That's what
is going to be the. Yep, that's going to be the phrase that you got to put in there, or the word. The word in numbers. Okay, here they come. Super exciting.
See, this is what you guys get to come on a Saturday for a live stream, even though it's like midnight for Nick here, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's like it's 11. Yeah, it's 11 p.m. So because the time zones and all that stuff, yeah. So it's 11 p.m. here local time. But yeah, this is great. Like we love doing this. That's why we show up every Saturday.
That's right. That's right.
Except for last Saturday.
We're here
but we went to the beach last Saturday. Yeah. So here we go. D, we need a drum roll, man. Where you at?
Come on, D. Do your due diligence, D.
Right? Slacking over there.
Here we go. Winner!
Nishan Webb.
Love it. Now, once again, this is only a ticket. You can't give it to anybody else. It's just for you. If you can't come, we'll give you a virtual ticket, and then it's not for travel or hotel. It's just to get into the show.
And Derral, for this last one, give me a word.
Mexico.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, look at that. What's funny is earlier.
I've got PTSD. Anytime somebody says Mexico, I twitch.
You shiver a little bit.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, the PTSD.
You mentioned earlier about somebody going to Mexico and looking for something or finding something. I was thinking about D, and I was like, yeah. I said, they should have went down there and found D.
Found D. Yeah, D was stuck, but he had some great fish tacos though.
Yeah, tacos.
Hey, it was an experience. Yeah. All right.
D, you can write a whole book on that, D.
Yeah.
You need to. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
So
you know what I regret? I regret this. Derral, during all of that time, we were on a live stream together, and he was like, "You need to be documenting this." He's like, "You need a channel. You need to be documenting this whole thing and let people follow you along in the story." Right?
Yep. I remember that.
And I was like, man, I just wasn't feeling it at the time. Oh, I regret that so much.
Yep.
Like
it would have been such good content because it's like, here's you're stuck.
Yep. Yes.
And then it's like you don't. You didn't speak Spanish. I bet your Spanish is pretty good now, but it's like you're like in a
just
foreign
stuck.
land trying to figure things out,
Stuck. Yes.
And at that time too, with like people being inside and then people following the whole thing, how's he going to get back?
That was a huge missed opportunity. But anyway,
like if we would go outside in areas that had the curfew and like the federale, like the police would come by in their trucks and they had the big guns in the back and they would like pull over and like yell at you and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
It was an experience, man.
Okay.
Next up, we've got Yuki Asaki.
I love it.
Congratulations,
Yuki won.
Asaki.
All right.
Well, guys, I'm super excited. Chantel, make sure we get all those added. And I just want to thank you again, both you and D, Nick, for all that you do. I look at the value of the community, how far the community has come, over the last few years. And, when they come on and just don't understand how to operate it, YouTube hasn't been very good at times communicating a lot of the changes or the things that you need to. And if they do, they got better as of late. But, it's really good to have a third party, an outside party, trusted source that they're able to do. And so I value what you do. I actually jump in at times, join the live streams. I'm just kind of in sitting and enjoying. But I do love the consistency of you helping, even though that you're giving the same answers over and over again. If you go back, the period of time.
Oh, that's the same.
But the reality is your willingness to give is just so great to see. And that's why I love coming on. I love contributing as much as I can and then also giving away these tickets. So.
Yeah, super appreciate you coming on. I appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate you coming on as well and sharing your expertise. I know your time is super valuable, with all the different things that you have going on, and I appreciate you taking that time and coming here and, helping the community out by, one, giving them tickets, but two, sharing just your, deep insights, from all the experience that you have. So it's massively appreciated.
One last thing is, like I do a coaching program. It's called Channel Jumpstart. It's where you work with me for 12 weeks. It's insane. I'm not going to lie. It takes a lot. Like you have to be willing to put in the time, energy, and effort, and being teachable. There's just a lot to do. So if you're interested in that, there should be a link there. Chantel can put a link in there. That's where I feel like I can give the most back, just because it's structured in a way, and we actually have community, and we have accountability groups. And then sometimes when you're doing it on your own, it's good to be a part of an accountability group.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, I would just stress, be a part of an accountability group. Like find 2 or 3 other people that are on this live stream or watch this live stream, and check in daily. And there's something very therapeutic when you're doing this. But more importantly, the data shows that those that are checking in are working with others that understand what you're going through, you have a higher probability to succeed. And so that's why I do group coaching, is I want to be able to teach them the way that I see YouTube and the way that you plan and how you analyze and how you adjust. And then 2, it's more of a community than anything else. Like I want the community like helping you decide what a good thumbnail is or not, or, understanding the details of the system that I teach. So if you can be a part of Channel Jumpstart, that's great. If you don't, like literally find 2 or 3 other people that you can talk to every day and obsess over the content or the live stream of what Nick said. And then it's more about, how do I apply it? What can I apply? And then doing it and testing it and seeing the results. So.
And also, just one more thing that I just want to mention as well is if you are, if you're getting started with this, or if you are somebody that's seeing, a wall with what it is that you're doing, remember that, YouTube is a skill, just like anything else that you do. Just like if you're learning how to play an instrument, if you get a new job or you start a new hobby, you got to learn all the different things about it. You got to learn how to do the thing. So just look at YouTube like that. And if you're struggling right now, just keep in mind that, there's a huge learning curve and we're all constantly in it, but just embrace the idea that like, hey, if things aren't going the way that I want right now, it means that, that I need to work on some stuff. It might be information that I need. It might be skills that I need, but it just means that, there's more that you need to do. So hang in there. You got this. We'll see you next Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Derral, thank you so much for coming on. Super appreciate it. Make sure you get your tickets to VidSummit at vidsummit.com. And everybody have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you next time.
Hit the sub button, hit the like button. If you're having fun, comment, type something. If you're laying back, leaning and engage, just take a second to smash the whole page.